the future at this point, unfortunately, with, too many things went wrong, too many injuries. Tyler Torbert's on the team to steal bases, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought.
So why was he just standing at first base hanging out?
I don't get it.
Look, it's the same thing. Like, I know that they know you're going to steal. You know that they're going to steal. But also, that's the point. You're so fast that we don't have to worry about that was kind of the idea, or at the very least, you should have a certain success rate. He's been frozen at first a couple of times. I understand if you don't get the jump and you're just going to get out. We're having a different conversation, and yet still frustrating. But it is a Red Friday. We're at a Red Friday tailgate here for Community America. So let's talk about the Chiefs. And what I would say were pretty harsh words from Matt Naggi as it relates to Jawaan Taylor. Now, we're going to play this audio in just a minute. I want to point out that when Jawaan Taylor was not committing penalties, his stats were actually somewhat favorable in the blocking category on Friday, which makes it even more frustrating. Listen to what Matt Naggi had to say about where Jawaan Taylor is and his most recent penalty issues.
Speaking to the obvious, the penalties, that can't happen, and so that's where we're at. We've made it loud and clear. Jawaan knows that. He understands it. It's something that, especially in a moment like that in that game when things are a little bit off kilter now with the personnel, and you start to move the ball, you have a couple positive plays, and then boom, a penalty or a second. So 3 penalties and a hold, not good enough. He knows that. When there's no one hiding from it, he's not hiding from it. He understands what's expected, and I think he's ready for that challenge here as we go.
Naggi talking about Jawaan Taylor's penalty struggles and specifically some of those holding calls as well. The thing that I think is frustrating for a lot of Chiefs fans is, like, it's not acceptable. You know, he knows basically you can't do it. We've told him that loud and clear. He's been with this team since 2023. Now, I guess the difference you could argue is 2 things, Cody, and why could this time they actually hold him accountable is it's essentially the final year of his contract, because we all know they're not picking up the final year. They can get out of it after this year, eat a little bit of dead cap. And they actually, we think, have a legitimate replacement behind him that they're paying a good chunk of money to in Jalen Moore. Like in 2023, the first year they signed him, there was no other option after him. No. It's year 1, all that. Last year, no real other option. You were worried about the left tackle problem.
They couldn't even solve left tackle
so
left guard.
So they couldn't mess with right tackle. The difference this year is Josh Simmons, I think he was fine, and he's obviously going to be the starter all year. Right tackle, the money is the money. But as you get a couple more weeks into this thing, you have a legitimate backup. And so maybe are they claiming they're going to actually hold him accountable this go around? Because it has been multiple years, and this penalty thing is not a new setup. We've seen this since 2023.
I think you've discussed this before. You were talking about it as it relates to Jets fans. Mm-hmm. People like to know that if you aren't doing your job, that there is repercussions for not doing it. We've seen other players on other teams. We've seen players on this team. Like the second Carson Steele fumbled the ball last year, he was on the curb. Like not that harsh, but like the man never touched the ball again. And so when you look at those positions, why is Jawaan Taylor? Just monetary? You just tell me just because you accidentally paid him too much, he can't be there? And yeah, that's the vet versus Carson Steele. But we're past the excuse part of it. He doesn't get the vet pass, the money pass. It is rare. And like we listen to a lot of these press conferences, we hear from a lot of these coaches. We do a lot of this in this industry. We hear so much of it. It is rare for a member of the Chiefs staff to single out an individual player and say, I told him that ain't okay. Like, we've told him, no good. You can't keep doing that. This is an unacceptable way to operate. That to me means, or you won't have a starting job anymore. Like, it comes with the implied part of the second part of that sentence for me.
Right, and this time around, I think the reason why they can say that publicly is because there is that option, behind him and Jalen Moore. Now, I don't.
Otherwise, it's an empty threat. Yeah,
for sure. And because saying that last year, I mean,
we're going to bench you. Like, oh yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah,
sure, coach.
So this year, I think if you're Jawaan Taylor, now look, his check cashes no matter what. That's the way it works. But he recognizes his level of play. He recognizes that there's a guy in camp with him throughout St. Joe that was battling at the right tackle spot that is also making a decent chunk of change. So I think it's real. Now, I don't think the leash is as short as maybe some Chiefs fans hope it is. You know, I think this is still a situation where the Chiefs would give him multiple weeks. I told you if he has another game on Sunday, stalls out drives because of holding call, multiple false starts. I would be fine in week 3 them saying, all right, it's Jalen Moore's job. I don't think the Chiefs and Andy Reid will do that yet. I think we are weeks away from them being willing to do it. But I think they would do it this year. But I don't think it's a 1 week thing or let's say the opening drive. I hope it's not this, but opening drive.
He gets a holding penalty that's
they're not pulling him one drive into the game on Sunday. I think you know that.
No,
too,
but
right?
if he's 4 penalties in again in the fourth quarter, I think they might.
Maybe.
To at least make a point.
Yeah, it's easy to pull Kingsley last year. He's a rookie. He's a vet. Andy also is not going to embarrass a player. You know that. He's not going to embarrass a veteran. He's just not. So they would be more likely to do it during the whole bye week, but
just
the game week.
Yeah, the game week. I will say that's what makes it more frustrating. It makes it more frustrating, Gold, knowing that when he's not doing the mistakes that seem like they are controllable, he's an okay right tackle. I'm not trying to lie to you and pretend like he's a superhero, but when he plays, the metrics bear out that he is an acceptable blocking right tackle when he's not doing goofy stuff like getting 3 false start penalties and a holding penalty. And, of course, him and Simmons got back-to-back penalties
that also
on the same drive,
which
made it even more frustrating.
But as much as we can use the vet stuff to his benefit and how Andy will treat him, dude, you're a veteran. You're making great money in the league at right tackle. You know since 2023, and heck, we looked it up in 2023. I remember when it was the huge conversation the first few weeks. He was doing this in Jacksonville. Now, they weren't calling the false starts, but he was doing it in Jacksonville. He was penalized heavily in Jacksonville. Clean it up, man. Like, spend an off season in you've had 2 off seasons since this has been a known issue. Clean that up. And the drive killer, someone brings up a good point on the text line. It's one thing you have penalties and with any player, but specifically when your quarterback is able to make Houdini type of plays, the one thing that prevents him from even doing that, obviously, is a play getting called back due to a penalty. Like, you can't.
Sure.
Even more reason why it's frustrating, because you have a quarterback on a 3rd and 8. Oh, that's more. Yes,
he might get 11 on the ground.
We know he can convert a 3rd and 15 as well, but still, when he does Houdini acts to convert a 3rd and 8, and then it gets called back because of a holding penalty, that's just such a deflator. You talk about emotion and not having it last week. That just will deflate any type of air that you have in the building on Sunday, any type of momentum your offense is having, all of it.
I agree. I just, you're stuck in the same thing. And, look, I can't help but wonder right now, because people who are doubting the Chiefs' offense, it's the same thing. If you put Patrick Mahomes on what I believe to be the Ravens' offensive roster and offensive line, or the Bills' offensive roster and offensive line, I think he would look just as good offensively as those 2 teams looked. I don't think that he's being shortchanged to the point that he has nothing or no one, but I also think that he has limited issues right now. And because there is no Xavier Worthy and no Rashee Rice, and I know Worthy will probably practice today, the rumor on the street is they're calling it a game-time decision. I think I'm now leaning in your direction, which is it's gamesmanship to try to force the Eagles to sit 10 minutes in a meeting and talk about what Xavier Worthy does for the roster, and that he's not playing this week. That seems insane to me, that he would be available this week, and that it's more likely by the Ravens game he would be available. But the idea that no Worthy, no Rice, your offensive line can't be screwy. You can't be hurting drives. The Chiefs are going to need 8 to 12 plays to go score every drive, and they're good at that. They were really good at that last year with limited weapons and a bad offensive line, and so, or at least a bad left side of the offensive line. I don't want to put it on the whole offensive line. It's like saying the U.S. is bad at soccer. No, we're bad at men's soccer. There's a difference between the two. We're as a country not bad at it. We're just bad at men's soccer. But when you look at it, it's the left side of the line was a problem the entire time last year. And it takes 8 to 12 plays, Gold. That's what they need. 8 to 12 plays to go down the field, and then they can get there. So, yeah, Jawan, he has simply got to be better. There is zero excuse, considering the fact how much he makes, how long he's been in this league, and how he can block when he's not making these mistakes.
You guys can interact with us on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. Again, in about 20 minutes, Jake Eisenberg will talk some Royals baseball with him. Now, we yesterday discussed, what Gronk had to say, and also the reality of what we all believe the reaction on Monday would be if they win versus a loss and everything like that. But for them to win on Sunday, knowing what we just said, Xavier Worthy unlikely to play, the defensive struggles from last week, Jawan Taylor's penalty issues, what does that look of the offense have to be? What's the identity of the team if they win on Sunday? How do they get that done? Because I think offensively, it's what they did last year. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be
that, what I just said, 8 to 12 play drives.
Multiple tight end sets, Cody, 10-play drives.
3.5-yard runs.
A bunch of third down conversions, which they were very good at last year. It's going to be a lot of that. Like, I know we saw the deep shots to Tyquan, and I think there will still be a few spots for that. But it's more likely going to be first down, and they're going to pick up 4 yards to a quick throw to Juju, and it's 2nd and 6, and then they're going to run with Pacheco. He's going to get 2 or 3, and it's 3rd and 4, and it's going to be another quick pass to Hollywood Brown and hope that he can cut up field. And like it's going to be a lot of that. Hopefully also to protect the defense a little bit. There is something to be said to that, I think, actually on Sunday, given the playmaking ability of the Eagles. And
for a little bit.
If this defense doesn't get enough corrected, those long drives at this point, maybe not the worst thing, not big picture long term. But if your defense is not there yet, it's going to take some more time, some weeks ahead. The long drive, maybe not the worst thing. I don't think you want to get into a shootout, one, because of your offense, but also your defense was on the field a ton against the Chargers.
I will say, we might not have liked the Chiefs' identity last year, but by the end of the year, they had an identity, right? We knew what they were, Gold. It was a slog offensively and all the things you just mentioned. Slow, methodical drives, and the better version of the Chiefs' offense is when they were actually coming through in the red zone versus when they were falling short of the red zone. And then last year, in the middle part of the season, they were bend, don't break on defense. But for other parts of it, they were just, we're elite. We don't get pressure with our front four, but we play excellent coverage. We send a lot of blitzers. We confuse and disguise, and that's who we were. I'm trying to decide, because I don't think this team has an identity yet. They're not the big play team yet, and they can't be, really, with Worthy and Hollywood Brown missing in action for at least a little bit of time. So, yeah, I guess I'm back to last year's offensive identity, because that's the easiest thing to fall into, isn't it? There's no medium identity. I would say you could become a big play threat in the run game who ran it a bunch of times, but you got the same guys. And we already talked about how they don't get big plays out of the rushing attack, so that can't be your identity. It's not an option to you.
How much more do you guys on the text line, even Drew as well, think they're going to run on Sunday? Because the explosive plays are not going to come from the running.
Secondary is where you should attack, so I don't.
Yeah, their secondary is their weakness. We know what that front is. Jalen Carter's playing in this game. Last week they ran the ball 11 times. We've gone over this all week. Pacheco only had 5 carries for 25 yards, I think it was.
Yeah.
But we went through the history. Carrington put out some great numbers this week over the last 300 or so carries, and the lack of explosiveness from anybody. I don't care whether Pacheco, Hunt, whoever. And frankly, I think Pacheco and Broussard Smith are the only 2 players in the backfield even capable of potentially getting a big play. And honestly, I don't know if I can even say Pacheco. Maybe Broussard Smith, if he ends up getting a few more touches, is the only player in the backfield that's capable of that. So how much more are they running? I think they're going to run more, but what's that look like? Okay, so they had 11 carries. Are they running it 21 times, 22 times? Can they double it?
They should.
Depends on how the game starts.
Sure, I agree.
Yeah. Because if you get behind, and that's where the Chiefs, I think, different than last year. I would not recommend this team play from behind. Something they did very well last year and do very well historically. In this game, I would avoid at all cost if you can. Obviously, I understand it's easy to just say
every team would love to not have
in particular,
behind,
look, there are a lot of teams, and the Chiefs are better at it than anyone else in NFL history. Like statistically, better than anyone else in NFL history. For this game in particular, I would actively dodge it. I'll be interested to ask Brisco, who we'll talk to at 11 o'clock. Obviously, you can hear his pregame show coming up on Sunday here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan. But I'm with the conversation we were having yesterday. Can anyone at this point tell me what Kareem Hunt's at in here? You want to give him the ball on the 1 yard line and say, get it in the end zone. I'll listen.
Mm-hmm.
Any other touch between the other 1 yard line and the following 2, the other 98 yards on the field, I'm not sure what you're getting out of that anymore. And you and I expressed this going into it. I wasn't trying to be a Kareem Hunt hater. He is a limited player. He came in and stepped up in a big way.
Helped him out big time last year.
Helped him out big time in a big way when they needed it with Isaiah Pacheco. He's not the answer. He's not. It wasn't. He's not the answer. He is a solution for 3.5 yards a carry, and I'm looking for more than that. That's where I would offer up Broussard Smith quite a bit more in the running game than what I'm offering Kareem Hunt at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with you in the run game that would be interesting to see if there's a shift. Let's remember, that the reason why I still think the offense could look better on Sunday, even if the explosiveness is not necessarily there, is as we talked with Nate Taylor in the week as well. I think there's definite truth to the fact that you had a game plan built around Xavier Worthy, and then 3 plays in, it's done.
And once they figured it out, they could score
so
late.
They now have a whole week, even though I know Worthy practiced limited yesterday. They know he's not playing, or that he is playing, right? One way or the other. They know, and I think the answer is he's not playing, but they know. And so they've had a whole week to get things corrected, but also game plan what that's going to be like against an Eagles team that they're very familiar with, against an Eagles team that obviously destroyed them in the Super Bowl, specifically at the line of scrimmage. And so I am convinced there will be, especially the first 15 scripted, what's the adjustment? What's that look like? I tend to think Noah Gray's got a big opportunity this game. I know we were joking yesterday about Robert Tonyan in the red zone. Could he be someone 30-1 to get a touchdown? But I think this is a Noah Gray type of game as well. I could see him having a pretty strong afternoon, or at least opportunity to.
Am I going to have to take a Noah Gray anytime touchdown if I can't get
our
guy Robert Tonyan?
I don't know if he's finding the end zone, Cody. I just mean he's going to have some opportunities in the passing game. What was he? How many targets did he have last? Was Noah Gray targeted once?
I don't think so.
I think he was targeted.
One time?
Was he?
Maybe
one time.
Okay. Whatever that number was, 0 or 1, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 4 or 5 targets in this game. Now, does that mean that it's touchdowns? No, but I could see them having him a little bit more involved in this passing game.
Yeah, he was targeted. He was targeted one time and had 1 catch for 3 yards.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be
I don't remember that catch.
I don't either. I think it was 3 yards. I think the. I
just feel like I just watched that game.
I think the targets will be up for him. Hogler Brown had 16 targets. My guess is he does not have 16 targets again. I'm guessing they're going to spread things around. Now, he still might have double-digit targets. He might have 11 or 12 targets, but I don't think he's getting 16 again. I think Travis Kelce or Noah Gray are more targeted in this game.
I wonder if guys, because I looked back, the Eagles outpossessed the Cowboys by 9 minutes. They had the ball 34 minutes in that first game, and I know they didn't look particularly great, but I know it might sound stupid, but it literally might come down to the way that you guys are talking about it as well, keeping the Eagles off the field. Who has the ball more ends up winning the game, actually, because the Eagles do the same sort of deal where they drain the clock a lot just because of the way that they play stylistically. Like, I wonder if whoever has the ball the most actually might be the team that ends up winning the game, and it could just be as simple as that.
By the way, the one catch, Noah Gray, was the catch right before that set him up for the field goal. He didn't get out of bounds.
Oh, that's why I don't remember it.
Yeah,
you remember the field goal, not the actual kick.
That's what it was.
That certainly makes a difference, at least on where you are or outside of it. Look, Drew, I don't think it's crazy, but this is also where I don't think the Chiefs' defense got enough credit last year or even in the first game this year. I'm not saying they played well, but it wasn't Amari and Hampton that tore him to shreds. Hell, in the Super Bowl, they sold out on stopping Saquon Barkley and did a very nice job at stopping Saquon Barkley. Rushing quarterbacks have gotten the better of them at times, but the rushing attack has actually been pretty good. They allowed the 10th least rushing yards per game last year, and some of that, and they played in a lot of close games. So you got to remember, that comes with 0 garbage time where a team was just throwing against you. They had like 1 game last year where someone would have just turned on the heat and said, well, let's just throw the whole time. That is every team running a normal offense for 60 minutes for 17 straight weeks or 16 straight weeks. So
it was Jalen, and it was Jalen that ended up killing him. He had 72 yards in that Super Bowl, and they only averaged 3 yards a carry, but they ran the ball 45 times. They had 135 yards just because they just had control over the game.
Awesome. Yeah, Hurts was awesome in that game. Again, both his Super Bowl performances. They obviously won one, lost one. He was awesome in both of them.
He really was. He's played great in big games. That's part of the reason they've been in 2 Super Bowls in the 4 years he's been the starting quarterback?
I will say in the same thing. They're probably saying the same thing in Philadelphia about adjustments. I still do not think they look great against the Dallas Cowboys last Thursday. Now,
I
it seems
agree.
like that was a month ago, honestly, but last Thursday, against the Cowboys team, and it's tough. We don't know how good are the Cowboys going to be. People don't think they're any good.
They got the C game from the Cowboys and still were in a dogfight.
Yeah. But Jalen Carter, we all know, because of the spinning, did not play. So did that change the entire thing for Dallas? They were able to run the ball with Javonte Williams. Was that the difference, or were there other signs? Dallas did a good job shutting down A.J. Brown. My guess is A.J. Brown's not going to be held to 1 catch until late in the fourth quarter, or for the fourth quarter. So it's going to be a different game plan for the Eagles. It's going to be a different game plan for the Chiefs. This is going to be, I think, a very close game on Sunday. We'll give our official scores later on, I know, in the show, but I think it's a very close game. We all know the environment's going to be awesome out in Arrowhead. There is the feeling of, hey, let's show people that last week wasn't our best football. All of that, I think I'd be shocked if either team wins comfortably.
And later, obviously, Gold's got a stat on what it looks like to be 0-2 and get to a Super Bowl. So that's also probably why the Chiefs are feeling a little bit of this heat. As a reminder, we're out at Community America near I-29 and 152 off of Skyview. We're here for a Red Friday tailgate where you have plenty of opportunities to do all kinds of great stuff. First, the first 100 people are going to be fed starting at 11 o'clock. Then they have their big ATM massive buttons, a chance to win Chiefs-Eagles tickets, gear up as well. They're going to have, like we mentioned, the Corn Dog Company as part of the food stuff, plus swag and games and other stuff. Chiefs Rumble, the Chiefs cheerleaders, and Casey Wolf. So anything and everything you'd like for a traditional tailgate here on a Red Friday, we'll have from 11 to 1 up here at Community America. So come by and see us. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We had a lot of fun last year when we were out for these Red Friday tailgates. First home game of the year coming up. Enjoy a nice Friday in
person
Kansas
just hopped
City.
the curb.
I did just,
Easy does it
people
there.
are excited to get in, man.
Easy does. She's trying to get here.
People are excited to get their spot.
Right over the top of that curve.
It's a Friday too. People got to stop by the credit union as well. It's something that has to happen. I think this morning, I'll be honest, before we get to a break, this morning you're going to make fun of me for this, but
what happened?
I had the alarm set.
Yeah.
Specifically to make sure I was up in time to pre-order the iPhone. It started at 5 a.m. Pacific, 7 a.m. Central.
You set an alarm to order it?
Today was we talked
like
about
a young Alex Gold, man.
Well,
like
we
young
talked
Alex Gold.
We talked about it in our pre-show meeting a few days ago. Like Drew, you were talking about the iPhone Air. Obviously, that's like the new iPhone that's coming out, and then
you and Carrington seem to be high on it.
But I did not pre-order the Air. I ended up going with the Pro, which I had the Pro.
Wait, you shifted?
Yeah, because the battery. So I was reading into it more last night. I was watching way too many videos on like people reviewing it. The battery life thing is better on the Pro, makes sense, than the Air. So that was a big thing for me. And the camera's slightly better on the Pro. And then the one thing that sold me, and this is very unique just to anybody that goes to a lot of sporting events, it says the Wi-Fi, it gets very nerdy, the 5G, like type of 5G is better on the Pro for if you're in like stadiums and other things. I said, well, sold.
So that was it. You were talked in just based on that, huh?
So I went with the Pro, and next Friday it'll be out.
I order a new phone every, I don't know,
Yours
3
is
years.
newer than mine, I think.
I'll be honest. I order it every like 3 years, and there's no real rhyme or reason to it. The battery starts like dying and not lasting as long, and I'm like, all right, it's enough. If it annoys me enough, then I'll get a new phone. Like if enough things are slow
battery's
or
starting
battery,
to act up on mine.
Like
conveniently the phone starts to die, right around when the new one's coming out. That's how it kind of goes.
Yeah. But it's not once a year for me, Like I don't know. When I used to get them supplied by a company I worked for, I got the new one every year for probably like 4 years in a row. And then since then, I'm every like 3 years. So I don't know. You can tell me, I guess, if this one's good, but I'm not going to pre-order it yet.
It's been 3 years, I think, since I upgraded
That's a long time, yeah.
And I'll be honest, so like a few weeks ago, I was looking at just upgrading because you can trade in your phone and essentially it doesn't end up costing you anything if you trade in your phone. At least that's the deal that the provider I use has. And so I'm like, well, why would I not just wait 3 more weeks and find out what this iPhone 17 is about? So it's the same. I could upgrade 2 weeks to the 16, the same cost, which is $0 per month, as I am going to pay for this one, which is $0 for a month. So why? So it was
just
worth waiting.
Wait 3 weeks.
It was worth waiting. Yeah.
Oh, $0 per month. That's pretty.
Well, because I'm trading in the phone. They have a deal. If you trade in your phone.
Normally, if I trade in my phone, I feel like I get some off, but I'm still.
No, they have the certain provider has
maybe I'm the wrong provider.
$1,000 trading credit going on right now. Yeah.
I can't believe a cell phone costs $1,000. Some part of it is just like it hurts my
but
soul.
At the same time, you think about how much we use them though and everything. Anyway,
yeah,
I know Drew, you were looking at the Air. I'll have to ask you later if you're going to end up pre-ordering that thing or something. Up next though, let's talk a little Royals baseball. Jake Eisenberg is in Philadelphia. It's an all Philly weekend. Eagles coming to town. Royals going to Philly to take on the Phillies. We'll ask Eisenberg about what's left on the schedule and look ahead a little bit. I think we have to 2026.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Get your home ready for the change in seasons with a $69 HVAC tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Our pros can help you lower energy costs, prevent costly breakdowns, and make sure your system is running at peak efficiency, right when you need it most. And it's all backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss.
Call it in the air.
Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these amazing game day specials. 14-inch two-topping pizzas for just $12 and $4 domestic OP cups. The other place with 5 great Kansas City Metro locations.
What we've been doing is pulling one of the people that sells a car every month and giving them a prize.
Give Me the VIN is giving away $25,000 in cash every month.
David Ling sold your car last week.
I sold a 2020 RX 350.
Yep.
Yeah.
Open that check up and tell me what it says.
$25,000.
$25,000. Give me that. David Ling of Claremont, California is the latest winner in GimmeTheVin.com's big cash giveaway.
$25,000.
What am I getting for being here? No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GimmeTheVin.com. Sell us your car.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
VapoCool.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here at Community America Credit Union, their branch off 29 and 152 in the Tiffany Springs Market Center here in KCMO. We got a whole Red Friday tailgate starting up in about 30 minutes here. Of course, free food to the first 100 people that show up. We're going to have Casey Wolf, Chiefs cheerleaders, chance to win some Chiefs and Eagles tickets, plus some other swag. Going to be a fun time out here till 1 o'clock. I want to get back to the Chiefs in just a bit, but we, of course, are excited. Talk a little Royals baseball with our guy, Jake Eisenberg. He's in Philadelphia. So, Eisenberg, this is a whole Philly weekend. Kansas City, not a fan of Philly whatsoever. Eagles in town, Royals taking on the Phillies. Are you rocking any Chiefs gear like while you're walking around? Or would that be a bad idea?
Right now I'm incognito because I understand that I am in enemy territory, and I hate to say it, it's beautiful here. I mean, I'm sitting outside Independence Hall right now, just took a walk around downtown Philly. It is a gorgeous day, and look, Sunday it's going to be much prettier in Kansas City than it will be here. But yeah, enemy territory, at least right now, it's not so bad. And I'll tell you what, the atmosphere at Citizens Bank Park tonight is going to be pretty electric. We were here a couple of years ago for a weekend series in August, and that was when they gave Trey Turner the standing ovation. This is a place that can really bring that kind of postseason energy. And maybe that's just what the Royals need, to go into, a pretty tough environment with their backs up against the wall.
I mean, we know now, Jake, that the number of losses the team can take is very limited. And I know that that's got to be hard on a team to know that your margin for error is essentially none anymore, right? And so, I do wonder, especially knowing that they don't have any of their starting pitchers still, and that the entire 4 of the 5 guys who started the season are on the injured list, how does a team, knowing they have no margin for error, not feel too tense?
Yeah, it's a tough situation. And, yesterday's game was an absolute gut punch because not only do you lose, but, you lose 3 out of 4 to the Guardians. You fall, back behind them after you entered that series in front of them in the wild card standings. The Mariners pull off another extra inning win last night. They've won 6 in a row, whether it's because they're a good team or because, SC Witches have something to do with it. Who's to say? But the Mariners have some magic going on in Seattle. They've won 6 in a row, and all of a sudden, if you're the Royals, you find yourselves 5 games out of a playoff spot with 15 games left to play. That's 5 3-game series, and so you need to average picking up at least 1 game a series down the stretch to even pull into a tie with the Mariners and the Astros, who are currently tied for the AL West lead and that 3rd wild card spot. And so, yeah, the math gets really, really challenging. One thing you do have in your back pocket is that you've got a 3-game series against the Mariners coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. One thing you've got in your back pocket, you finish the year with 6 games on the road against 2 teams that are very far into the playoff picture in the Angels and the Athletics. The flip side of that is, well, you just lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels, and the only time you faced the Athletics this season, you got swept. That was during the dismal month of June. And so when you're talking about the margin for error, yeah, the margin is about as slim as it's gotten over the course of this entire season.
Jake, you've been around this team the entire season. You know how these guys interact with each other in the clubhouse, and just overall by now, if something is different, it would be pretty noticeable. Do you notice any change now that it's becoming real, that, hey, this thing is getting close to the end of the regular season, and you just went through the scenarios? Do you sense anybody, I guess, is there panic? Is there a different attitude in the clubhouse?
So I'll kind of non-answer that because I wasn't in the clubhouse post-game yesterday.
Okay.
And I haven't been in the clubhouse yet today. So I don't know if the temperament has changed from yesterday to today. I will say that one thing that these guys have done a really good job of all season long, and I know it's going to maybe fall on deaf ears or sound a little cliche, but they've done a great job putting one foot in front of the other. They've done a great job of not letting the day before carry into the next day, whether it's been a win or a loss. And so if there's a team that is capable of compartmentalizing to the degree where they can say, okay, we're going to focus on today, we're going to focus on then tomorrow, then we're going to focus on the next day. If there's a team that can do that, it is the Royals, and that starts from the top down with what Matt Quatrero has preached really since he got here in 2023 and then especially last year. So what I've noticed about the Royals is that the temperament has been pretty even keel, which I think is really, really hard to do. And look, you saw what Vinny Pasquantino said the other night. It's not as if these guys don't know what the math is. It's not as if they don't know what the standings are, don't know what the results are.
Yeah,
we've entered a realm where you're not really supposed to say it. You're not supposed to be like, yeah, we know we're 5 games out and we have to win. You're not supposed to say it for one reason or another. Why that is, I don't really understand. But it's not as if there's an absence of understanding reality right now. And so, yeah, this team knows that its back is up against the wall.
Back. There we go.
Jake, when you look at like where this team is, and just like knowing that this year's odds are still slim, like you mentioned, the team knows that, I know that. I can't help but look at some of the things that go into 2026, and one of the things that stands out to me is what Vinny Pasquantino has done so far this year. Him and Maikel Garcia have had breakout years, 30 home runs, 100 RBI. I know you put the list out of the 10 Royals players who had done that or accomplished that in their career. Vinny has turned himself into one of the most consistent hitters in baseball is the way I view it. And at the very least, I know you got to add to the offense this offseason. Having Vinny, having Maikel, having Bobby, there's at least a little bit of a foundation for 2026 offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hope that Jack Caglione takes a big step forward. And who knows what Carter Jensen can be. Kyle Isbell, even though it's been a quiet month, he's had a really solid offensive season too. Mike Yastrzemski came over. Maybe he's somebody that the Royals keep in the mix. Adam Frazier. Hopefully Jonathan India bounces back. A full season for Michael Massey. You can see what the offense could be, and I think that's one of the reasons why some of the results this season have been as frustrating as you are. And I was thinking about it last night. When you look at some of these seasons individually, guys, you got Vinny Pasquantino putting up a 30-100 season, and that was after a pretty awful month of April. You've got Bobby Witt Jr. who's putting up another MVP caliber season. Is it as generational as it was last year? No, but that's not necessarily what the expectation should be. He's still been the third best position player in the American League behind Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. And then you have a massive breakout season from Maikel Garcia, who's been a 5-win player this year. He's a top 5 position player in the American League. He's had a tremendous offensive season. And so that's why some of the disconnect is, well, if those 3 guys are doing what they're doing, and Salvador Perez has put up some of the power numbers, some of his better power numbers overall, 25 home runs. He's got a career high in doubles. The RBIs are, right around where you might expect him to be. Where did it necessarily fall short? And that's a little bit puzzling, I think. But one of the other things, and I'll say this, one of the other things that I think about the 2025 Royals is that as much as we've seen ups and downs from the offense, and there have been mostly downs, the only reason why the Royals are still where they are right now is because of the newfound depth with the starting pitching. And if not for Ryan Bergert and Stephen Kolek, and especially Noah Cameron,
and have Jake Eisenberg join us next Friday here on the show. I wanted to keep talking, but it's dropping too many times there, unfortunately.
Oh, he was dropping? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's us.
For us,
I think it's you guys, because he's been totally fine this entire time.
Oh, well.
Uh-oh.
On our end, he dropped 5 times during that.
You guys just dropped as well.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, Jake.
I think we were fine in the first segment, though. So
yeah.
I think we
needed to.
You guys keep on going in and out, but let's just carry on. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Drew. I agree with Jake Eisenberg, at least in this sense, which is when you look at a guy like Vinny Pasquantino and the kind of years they've had, it's a frustrating year, Gold, because the issues that they're having don't make sense to me, in the sense that Maikel Garcia, career year. Vinny Pasquantino, career year. Salvador Perez, when you look at the year as a whole, has not been that bad. And you're like, the starting pitching staff is still one of the better in the, the entire ERA for the starting pitchers, the bullpen, all of that, Gold, is one of the better ones in the league. And you are still stuck 5 games out of a playoff spot. Everything's all screwy. And you got to find a way to, bounce back next year. I am looking to 2026 now, Gold. I can't help it. I'm looking at 2026 because that's the direction you kind of have to handle it.
Yeah, I think most of the focus now has to move to that. As unfortunate as we all wanted the Mariners series next week to be this huge series with a big crowd and everything, and barring a shocking sweep of the Phillies this weekend, I don't think that necessarily...
And a sweep of the Mariners.
Well, but setting up the Mariners series meeting from a crowd perspective, I think it's over at this point in time. There's no reason to believe that they're going to win, 7 in a row, 8 in a row. As you said, I think they can afford maybe 3 losses the rest of the way. Coming up in about 18 minutes, we'll be joined by Josh Brisco. We'll get his perspective on the Chiefs game on Sunday as the Eagles come to town. Of course, when we do talk a little college football, which we'll do coming up a little bit later with Drew as well, talk about the local college football. Don't forget college football coverage on The Fan, brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light and Tanner's are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets only at Kansas area Tanner's locations. Bud Light and Tanner's, from the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters.
I'm just surprised at where they are. And that's okay. We can talk more to Jake Eisenberg, and we'll take a look at that. In a little bit, Gold, we got to get to your golden lock.
All right, we might have lost the guys again.
Okay.
Oh, are you guys there? I guess not. Okay, so while we work through the technical difficulties, again, apologies for that. Apologies for Jake Eisenberg and those things. Gold had some stats that he had pulled up or had researched, as well as Carrington yesterday, and the Chiefs haven't started 0-2 since 2014. This is something, obviously, the playoff chances significantly decrease for teams that start 0-2. Obviously, the guys talked about that last year with some particular teams. But, the need to not go 0-2, I feel like is strong. I don't know how you feel on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965, but it feels like there's more pressing on this game, and I know that we haven't seen this for the Kansas City Chiefs recently, where, yes, they go down and they have issues and they try to overcome these things, and it's ended up working out for them in their favor, but it feels a little bit different, and I don't know if it's the way that the defense looked in week one in that matchup against the Chargers, but it feels like there's less margin for error with this team, to Cody's point earlier. Like, look, can they afford to go down early in this game? I think they have to be the ones to punch first. I wanted that in the game against the Chargers too, and they had the ball. Obviously, it didn't work out with the Xavier Worthy stuff, but it felt like that's something that they needed to come out and do right away. I think we got the guys back now. I was just talking about the 0-2 record, that not happening since 2014.
Yeah, we're going to get into some of those trends and what happens when you start 0-2. Now, I would say with any of these trends, keep in mind, I think we've learned our lesson over the last couple of years. A lot of trends simply have not applied to the Chiefs. Now, the question is, do you believe this is a year and now a different era of Chiefs football? And that's something we're going to find out over the next couple of weeks. I don't think even Sunday will decide that, but there's a lot of trends that don't point in your favor if you start 0-2. I think we understand that, but the same way a lot of trends did not end up panning out when the Patriots were involved in them. There's certain quarterbacks, certain teams, organizations that I don't think you can lean on trends as much, but we definitely will discuss that as well. Hopefully our connection's sounding a little bit better as we're broadcasting live from a Red Friday tailgate, which begins in 15 minutes here at Community America Credit Union. Their branch off 29 and 152 in the Tiffany Springs Market Center in KC-Mo. Free food to the first 100 people. We got an awesome food truck. The Corn Dog Company is out here. You can take some photos with the Chiefs cheerleaders at KC Wolf, the Chiefs Rumble, plus a chance to win tickets to this Sunday's game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Cody mentioned that I need to hand out a few picks. I've been going on other shows doing that. So, Drew, let's get to the Golden Locks.
Just because you love something doesn't mean you're good at it. But Alex Gold and betting on sports? Pretty good. It's time for Golden Locks.
All right, I'm not going to do our Circa picks, which is where we're trying to go 0-5 this week.
Oh, these are actual winners.
Yes. Now, we can keep an eye on them and see if we should have gone with these or not. But remember, in our Circa Millions contest, we want to go 0-5 so that we finish last place for the quarter and win $25K. And we are going to submit those picks later on. But let me tell you, picks that I actually like for this week. Let's start with Jacksonville, plus 3.5. I like them to cover against Drew's Cincinnati Bengals.
You learned your lesson after week one, huh?
Well, it's not even a reaction to that as much as I actually thought Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville with Liam Cohen looked pretty decent. Now, they weren't playing the best opponent in the world, but neither were the Cincinnati Bengals. They were playing 42-year-old Joe Flacco and struggled on offense. Now, the Jags defense, I think, is going to certainly give up far more than what we saw Cleveland give up. To me, this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game, and I'm getting 3.5 points. I like Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas, and company. And ETN, that's my big switch on the Jags is ETN looked good. After last year, struggling, getting injured multiple times and never staying healthy, I actually like the opportunity there for Jacksonville to cover and keep an eye on a potential upset. This is not just me saying it because we go back and forth on Cincy and hating on them. I wasn't that impressed with Cincinnati in week 1. Why should I think that they're capable of covering a 3.5 against a Jags team that I told you I have winning the AFC South this year?
The one big difference with them was obviously their run defense, but they were going up against one of the worst offensive lines in football with Dylan Sampson. I want to see him against a decent run-blocking offensive line as good as Travis Etienne looks. If they hold him down, I will start believing that Cincinnati found a way to improve their run defense, which was such a problem for them last year. So, yeah, I don't hate that one.
Right.
What else you got?
Other lock, Arizona minus 6.5 in their game. We were talking about this one for our Circa Millions and trying to figure out if you think that there's a possibility of the Carolina Panthers covering or not. Now, Bryce Young did not look good whatsoever.
He looked bad.
Was that who he is, or was the final 8 games where he was clutch what he is? So what happened there? Was that just trying to get Ted McMullen involved? They don't have Adam Thielen anymore. Dave Canales obviously is on the hot seat if things go south this year. But the latest line on this game has the Carolina Panthers as 6.5-point underdogs. I do like Arizona to cover the 6.5. People will point to the Saints last week and Spencer Rattler nearly coming back and covering. Remember, they had a chance in the end zone to tie the game. They did not. Arizona covered the 6.5 last week against Spencer Rattler. This go around, it's Bryce Young. I don't think it's a huge difference overall for Arizona in terms of their defensive performance, but I think we'll see Kyler Murray and company actually have a little more success than they did last week.
I will say I'll feel significantly better about my Arizona Cardinals pick to win the NFC West. If they start 2-0 Gold, I'll feel pretty good about that. Kyler does not. Do you have any idea why? We talk about average quarterbacks in the NFL all the time, and for whatever reason, I don't feel like nearly enough people just put Kyler in that range. It doesn't mean you're going to lose a bunch of games. I'm saying he is an average NFL quarterback. I think it's like more on the negative end. They don't even lump him in with the guys, Gold, that I think are just average NFL quarterbacks that people are happy to have on their teams. They talk about him like he's somehow in a lower tier than that.
Because it's easy to forget about him.
He's a perfectly fine quarterback, though. Yeah, that might be it. But I just feel like Drew, he gets lumped in with guys that are way worse. He gets lumped in with the Trevor Lawrences of the world, and he has statistically been significantly better than guys like that.
Yeah, I just think they'll be able to protect Kyler Murray better than they did last week against the Saints. The Saints' defensive front, even though the team we don't think is any good, their defensive front still has Cam Jordan. They still have, to me, some playmakers. Last week the Cardinals gave up 4+ sacks. Actually, I think they got sacked 5 times by the Saints, and they won. They were prior to that. Anytime Kyler Murray had been sacked 4 more times, they were 0-11. So they won a game in which he actually got sacked a bunch. I actually view that as a positive.
Yeah, I do too.
Finding ways to win. So anyway, and then the last one, we're going to talk about it all show. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes as a home dog, +1.5. Mahomes has only been a home dog one other time at home in his career in 68 starts, and that was against the Bills in 2022. And they did lose outright 24-20. I just, out of principle, if I get Mahomes with points at Arrowhead in a season opener, and a game after a game in which, to me, there was just a lot of communication errors on defense. Now they have a full week to prepare without knowing they're not going to have Worthy, we think. We'll find out officially later on today, maybe. This, to me, is a spot I have to take the Chiefs getting points.
I'm with you, even though, I would point out, the one time that he was a home dog, they were right. They were correct in making him a home dog. But at the same time, while that's true, it's what kind of sample size is that, dude? That's literally one game. So, I can't make my betting advice based on that. I can make my betting advice knowing that the Chiefs win almost all their games and almost all their home games in the course of his career. So, honestly, Gold, we're pretty aligned on this. Oftentimes, I don't just say it just because you and I are in there. We're relatively aligned. Arizona, I'd probably just avoid, but the other two I like.
Now, those are the actual picks. But for our Circa Millions with Bink, with Dusty, with
How's
Spec,
it looking
with
right
yourself,
now? Do we have our picks yet?
What are we doing this week? We're trying to tank. That's what we're trying to do. We need 5 picks to lose. So far, submissions from Bink. Seattle +3, meaning he does not think they're going to cover. Okay. It's reverse of everything I'm about to say. Who do the Seahawks?
I don't remember who Seattle plays.
That's going to drive me crazy.
It's another mediocre team, isn't it?
Seattle Seahawks this week have the Steelers on the road.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So he has the Pittsburgh Steelers covering, basically, is what
okay,
he has.
Sure.
He has Indy as a pick-em, meaning he thinks Denver's winning. And he has the Chargers -3.5, meaning he has the Raiders covering the 3.5.
He thinks the Seahawks are covering 3 against the Steelers?
No, he doesn't think it. Remember, we're trying to lose.
We're picking losers. We want these bets to lose.
Losers, Drew.
We're going for the last place 25K quarter prize.
Okay.
Which 3 are yours right now? I might change mine.
Mine
I'm not
right
locked in
now,
yet.
Indy pick'em, meaning I think Denver is going to win. I need Indy to lose. Baltimore minus 11.5, meaning in this case, I don't think they're covering. I think Cleveland's going to cover because we need it to be wrong. And then the Saints plus 3, meaning I actually think the Niners are going to cover.
How was Cleveland at covering last year? That's what I should have looked up. Because it's not as a dramatically different team than the year before.
They've won 3 out of the last 5 against the Ravens. They've definitely covered against the Ravens before.
I just meant in general, but yeah,
last season.
they're just good at making games ugly.
AFC
Drew.
North, man, yeah.
I give Cleveland a lot of credit for just playing hideous football games that I don't want to watch with my 2 eyes.
There you go.
But from a betting perspective, and 11.5 points, the only question I have is, are the Ravens out for blood?
The Ravens
after the way it went.
The Ravens are just the 18th team since 1999 to be a double-digit favorite in Week 2 after losing the prior week in Week 1. Those teams in Week 2 are 5-12 against the spread. In general, double-digit favorites in division are hitting at a 45% against the spread rate since 2003.
Okay, so generally speaking, it's a 50-50 proposition to choose a double-digit spread, but it's good in Week 2, it sounds like, historically. So, yeah, I'm on that Ravens.
And then Rob submitted you submitted yours. You have the Chargers minus 3.5, meaning you think the Raiders are covering. You also have Indy, and you also have Baltimore. Rob has Miami minus 1, meaning he thinks the Patriots are going to cover the 1. He has the Saints, like I do, meaning he thinks the 49ers, and then he has Dallas minus 5.5, meaning he thinks the Giants are covering the 5.5.
I'm surprised that none of you guys have the Bengals minus 3.5 since you had it on your golden locks that the Jags.
He was tempted by it.
Yeah,
he was tempted by it. Look, Cincinnati also, I'd like to see. They're one of the teams that, I bet in Week 1 because I was pretty confident they were going to cover. They didn't.
It's a divisional game,
They played
man.
an ugly game, and I want to just leave it out of my hands for this time and see which way it goes instead. I'm not nearly as confident in that selection as I was this time around because I felt like I had a good handle on where Cincinnati was going to be this year. And after watching that game, I'm less sure about where I thought they're going to be, even though I didn't think they were a playoff team. They didn't play well against a bad team. I'd like to maybe see them again. And I also don't feel like I know enough about Jacksonville. It's just a matchup that I don't like because I don't feel like I know where those two teams in particular are or will be. So I'm just staying at it.
It's a big week for getting a better gauge on truly everybody. Week 1 overreaction. We've gone through what happened in Week 1 last year for some teams, and then how they finished. Saints are the example that we've used a lot. Week 2, you start to find out, maybe this team just actually isn't very good. Or this team, that was just an outlier Week 1 performance. Like the Dolphins are interesting. Everybody thinks they're terrible and they're trash, and maybe they are.
But maybe they're mediocre.
If they
really
play well and
game.
beat the Patriots, and it's like, okay, they're not that bad. The Colts, are the Colts that good with Daniel Jones, or are the Dolphins that bad? We're going to find out. The Colts are playing the Denver Broncos. If the Colts beat the Broncos, then I think we have to view the Colts in a much different light.
I agree.
And their chances in the AFC South. So,
I agree.
Or how you view Bo Nix. I mean, there's just a lot of things that can change with this week. Up next, we will be joined by Joshua Brisco, of course, part of the Chiefs Radio Network. We'll get his perspective on what the Chiefs have to do against the Eagles on Sunday.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Gold, and I'm letting you know that FanDuel is coming to Missouri. That's right, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to Missouri. The wait will soon be over. On December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all of your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's tons of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet on everything from the money line to over-unders to which team will win it all. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can even pick which player will score the next touchdown and the one after that. Mark your calendars, FanDuel is coming to Missouri on December 1st. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Flu season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Smokehouse Barbecue has always been our choice when it comes to barbecue in Kansas City. We love everything about Smokehouse Barbecue. And now Smokehouse has street tacos, their newest menu item. 3 flour tortillas, chopped burnt ends and smoked sausage, plus corn elote and Cajun sour cream and a side. And now, every Tuesday, kids eat for $1.99 with the purchase of an adult entree. So visit Smokehouse Barbecue in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence, and at SmokehouseBBQ.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Danon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danon Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth. Why not start today?
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Missouri. That's right, from your couch. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose your favorite players, and if they'll go higher or lower than stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Plus, get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1. One of the easiest apps I've ever downloaded. Come join the millions of us who have already won billions over at Underdog, and download the app today and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Listen to the Royals and Phillies this Sunday on The Fan AM 610 with Burns on Deck show starting at 11:30. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFMC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We are back at Community America Credit Union. They're branch off 29 and 152 in the Tiffany Springs Market Center. KCMO, the tailgate is officially underway. People are lining up to get a shot at that big ATM here, which means a chance at some swag, but also a chance at some Chiefs and Eagles tickets. The tailgate goes till 1 o'clock, and still the free food to the first 100 people, so still time to get out here and take advantage. They've got the awesome food truck, the Corn Dog Company, hanging out as well. I don't know if you caught it right as we were coming back from break as well. We've got Chiefs Rumble out here. Chiefs cheerleaders just showed up along with Casey Wolf. Cody was trying to figure out which Wolf. It's the original. It's the OG, man. They weren't going to have the what was the one?
I thought maybe they were rolling out the new international
ones,
ones,
you know? Casey Wolf, the Ireland one?
Oh, yeah, Casey Wolf.
Yes. That one's not here. We're not in Ireland. That one's not here. Just the OG. All right, let's talk some Chiefs football with Joshua Brisco. He, of course, will be on pre- and post-game coverage right here on the Chiefs Radio Network and on 96.5 The Fan. Brisco, I was giving you a hard time earlier. I said we can't let you drop to 0-2, man. We can't let you go 2 games under 500.
Hey, I appreciate you not counting the preseason, because if you want to go ahead and put those in my official scoring column, it's even worse.
Are the Chiefs ever going to win a game again, Josh? I mean, people are asking. They've now lost, including – this would be the first time ever in Patrick Mahomes' career they've lost 3 games in a row. Now, we can set aside for a minute that's ludicrous, right, and that no other quarterback on the planet is held to the standard of the idea that they can never lose 3 games in a row. But, I mean, it does. That's a weird feeling. This is a weird place for Chiefs fans.
Well, and the thing that I've already accepted, maybe this has given me some zen, and it's crazy. I'm like, hey, guys, they could lose a lot more games, and it still would be fine. But I really did do this kind of going through the schedule and thinking, well, they could legitimately, I won't go game by game, but you can look at the schedule and you can probably fill in the blanks here. They could be 4-5. They could be below 500 halfway through the season, and in the season 12-5. Like, the back half of the schedule is a little bit softer, and you presume you've got Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. Obviously, Worthy's timeline looks good after practicing yesterday, but I could see this team. Also, when you think about where the issues were defensively, where, like, Jaden Hicks looks out of sorts. It's his first game in his second year. Like, I really do think there will be things that are significantly and obviously better on both sides of the ball halfway through the season. So it would not be any fun at all to start this season off 0-2. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion for what that's worth. And you don't want to be going to New York for the Giants on Sunday Night Football saying, okay, well, this is a must-win game against Russell Wilson's squad. But I really do have a little bit of zen for now. I think I've learned the lessons of recent Chiefs years, and specifically what's gone wrong so far, I think is relatively obvious. The pass rush to me is the one thing that I'm probably going to be concerned about all the way until hopefully February.
Let's get one thing out of the way, just beginning, because I know people are probably thinking it today. Brisco, you see Worthy practice yesterday, limited in practice. It's obviously a great sign that this is not going to be probably a month-plus long injury like everybody was fearful of. But there's no way he's playing Sunday, right?
Truthfully, I don't know any more than you do, so I would be pretty surprised if he played. running around on the field in practice is very, very different than getting hit, getting tackled, falling on that shoulder. So I'd still be pretty surprised. And our mutual friend Nate Taylor made it sound like next week against the Giants is probably the most likely landing spot for Worthy's return, which would already be great. I was really concerned about a much longer absence, the moment he got hurt and kind of the couple days following. So it's a great sign that he's out there. It also, to me, indicates that he's not in that kind of like no man's land between surgery and bracing it up, because that's scary, because you just don't know which direction that's going to ultimately send you. But I think you have to feel good about Worthy, and I would assume that he's not on the field on Sunday against the Eagles.
What would you say? So, it's easy to point out all the things they did wrong. The pass rush, the secondary, the lack of coverage skill, etc., right? The list was pretty lengthy for that game last Friday. Those final 5 possessions for the Chiefs offensively that they scored, what did you see in those that you think is repeatable, right? Because they did score in their final 5 possessions, which I think is a little bit lost because they were so far behind for so long in that game. But what did you see there that they can repeat?
The most obvious thing that they did there was Patrick Mahomes. Like, that end of sentence,
he
end
exists.
Of evaluation. He's there, and he did the thing that we see him do all the time down the stretch. We see it in the playoffs where he looks around and he goes, well, I might as well run for 12 yards here. And he just, it's like a bag he's able to access. It feels like at the drop of a hat. You don't want to have to do that outside of the structure of the offense starting in week 1. The couple of things in the passing game that I do think are repeatable are something that we could see continue even without Xavier Worthy. Tyquan Thornton was getting open, and he wasn't just getting open way late in the play. He wasn't just open on the target that Mahomes had and then the one that was a little bit out of sync. There were several times where I think Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Matt Naggi probably looked at the tape this week and went, okay, no, I mean, Tyquan was there several times. I don't need him to have 8 targets just constantly chucking deep balls like I do playing college football on the PlayStation. But I do think that has to be a part of the offense that continues, that then does allow such a huge difference from the first couple targets for Hollywood Brown to the back half of the game. That's another sustainable thing, I think, where early on it was ugly. Like, I was afraid, thinking, oh man, Hollywood hasn't played a lot of football. Obviously, He missed the preseason. Is this going to be a rust situation, or are we on, watch here? And then ultimately he has a much better second half, and I think you can point to his drop and him getting to the wrong spot by a little bit than where Mahomes expected him to be. You can point at those and say, yeah, that's a guy that was just getting his first live action in 7 months. So I think that the Thornton, Hollywood, Juju kind of combo where they have different roles at different levels in the offense, I do think that's something that the Chiefs can get by with for a little while. The running game just not existing against the Chargers is the offensive thing that I kind of keep my eyebrows raised at, because they got to get something on the ground.
We're talking to Josh Brisco, pre- and post-game host on the Chiefs Radio Network. You'll hear him this Sunday afternoon right here on 96.5 The Fan. With the offense now having a whole week to know that they know one way or the other whether they're having Worthy or not, even if we don't for sure. So versus having a player drop out 3 plays in and having to alter your entire game plan, do you think we're just going to see more of the Noah Gray, Robert Tonyan, just more of these tight end sets? And Cody and I have been talking about, it feels like Noah Gray could have 5 targets in this game.
Yeah, it does, and I still kind of don't expect it, because I have expected that before. I have expected, okay, well, it makes sense here. Maybe you could solve a few issues at the same time by going a little more heavy and running, just having Tonyan involved. He looked really good in the preseason. Clearly they liked him enough to keep him around. Can you do something with 2 or 3 tight ends to kind of change the math on the defense a little bit, where if you end up going heavy defensively, then all right, we'll throw the ball to the tight ends. If you end up going light and respecting those tight ends as pass catchers, time to run the ball right at those guys, right behind Robert Tonyan or whoever ends up being out there. So I think that by necessity, you'd like to see the water rise for pretty much everybody. Nobody's going to get 6 or 7 extra targets, I don't think, because Worthy is out, which I think Hollywood kind of did in week 1. Because it was all right, man, you got to step in here. We have a game plan. We're just going to have to do it without the guy who was at the center of it in terms of the weapons. I would love to see them run a little more heavy, run a little more under center, give Isaiah Pacheco a few more cracks that way, while also continuing to have the offense built around the deep and intermediate passing game. if Noah Gray can be a guy that's helping you move the chains and you're hitting for some 6, 7, 8 yard gains here and there, I'm totally good with it. That seems like a role that he's really excelled in. But as a Noah Gray appreciator, every time it kind of seems like, oh, maybe his role is going to take a step up here. I don't know that it has, at least not statistically. He does a ton for the offense without getting a ton of those targets. So I will keep my eyes open on that. I really do think Noah Gray is a very valuable part of the offense, but I think if week 1 is any indication at least, I think Hollywood, Juju, and Thornton, probably in that order, are the guys who are kind of under the biggest spotlight offensively.
Were Monday's comments from Andy or Reid, were those pretty telling about where Christian Fulton is and how long it should be until we expect Shamari Connor to not be playing corner anymore?
Well, so I'm going to go to what Spags said yesterday, because he was asked about Fulton and getting him involved in everything. And Spags said something like, well, it's a long season. You got to have 3, 4, 5 corners, which is the kind of thing that he said about Nazeeh Johnson and Joshua Williams. And when you just have to have depth at the position, he's right about that. But it did kind of put Fulton in that category as like, no, he's a depth guy who we'll have to rely on at some point. Like, it could have been a question about Noel Williams, right? So, yeah, he's young, but we'll need to rely on him at some point. That's probably true. But they paid Christian Fulton to come in and be a number 2 corner on this team. Or, if he's 3 behind Jalen Watson, that doesn't matter to me at all. Trent McDuffie is 1, and then Watson and Fulton, whatever the role is, that's great. But with the Shamari Connor thing in mind and all the Chiefs' issues over the middle of the field and covering the slot, to me, it seems like the most clear and obvious lever to pull, which isn't always the right one, I suppose, but the most clear and obvious lever to pull for me is you get Christian Fulton on the field 60+% of the time. He and Watson are your outside corners. McDuffie goes into the slot, and then maybe Shamari Connor can do some more safety things that takes a little bit off of Jaden Hicks' plate after a rough game. Maybe you just give Connor a few plays off because we saw what happened against the Chargers. So Brian Cook's role could evolve a little bit. I know Spags loves the hard-hitting, versatile defensive backs, and that's served him very well. But yeah, I'd like to see a lot more Christian Fulton pretty soon. I think this Eagles team honestly ends up being a pretty good matchup for him and Watson to get more involved.
We can genuinely call this nitpicking because I understand just how good Steve Spagnuolo is at the job, how great he's been at the job, all the stuff that comes with it. My single biggest gripe with him the entire time he's been in Kansas City is an absolute refusal to occasionally play the more athletic player over the player who knows the defense more. I call this the Dan Sorensen triangle. Yep. And what I genuinely, sometimes I'm just like, no, play the better player, as in the more athletic player, because I feel like if you make more mistakes on the field, sometimes you can make up for it with athleticism or just savviness, whatever it is, right, versus the guy who knows where he's supposed to be. We run into this, I feel like, with 1 or 2 players a year where I'm like, why aren't you playing that guy more? And it seems to come down, Brisco, to the guy who knows the defense better, and they can't shake that.
Right, and so that, I'm with you, which is exactly what makes the Shamari Connor thing kind of crazy, because he is the best athlete. He is the guy that's flying around and make a mistake, but make it fast. That's the Shamari Connor experience a lot of the times. And Jaden Hicks, again, is getting a little baptism by fire after being really good the back half of last season. He's a guy where you're like, I think Spags is trusting that he knows the defense, but he's still very young in it. So that I am completely with you on what Spags' track record has been. It feels like we're seeing the opposite of that right now. Again, it's very, very early. We're 1 week into this thing, and I think giving Hicks the lumps to be a more confident player in the back half of the year is probably right. But then, yes, with Fulton, I know he wasn't out there in camp, and so maybe he didn't get all of the things that Spags wanted him to get. Maybe he just didn't get to put it down on reps on the field in a way that has Spags a little bit more gun-shy and saying, I will prefer to just leave Connor out there and shuffle things around that way. But I remember talking all offseason about how much I liked the Christian Fulton signing because it allowed you to put Trent McDuffie back at the spot where he is not only at his best, but where he is the most powerful weapon, where he can do so many things out of the slot there. So I really am a little bit curious still. Maybe in a week or two, this is a foregone conclusion and Fulton's back to the workload that his contract and his off-season standing would put him in at. But right now, it's quite strange.
We're talking to Josh Brisco here on 96.5 The Fan. We all know the comments yesterday from Matt Naggi certainly went around the water cooler, if you will, a little bit. We led our show talking about him saying in regards to the penalties for Jawan Taylor that, quote, that can't happen. We've made it loud and clear. And I think a lot of people said, well, he's been with the team since 2023. What's the consequence going to be if you've made it loud and clear? I was telling Cody, and I think he kind of agreed, and it seems pretty simple. They have a legit backup this go-around, and it's also probably the last year. So what's the leash look like? If Juwan Taylor has another performance penalty-wise like he had against the Eagles, is that it? Or do you think Andy Reid, it's still a veteran here, that they're going to give him 2-3+ weeks?
Again, I think I think what I think happens is probably a little bit different from where I'm at right now, but I would think he's going to get a longer leash than Kingsley last year. But to your point there, this isn't a new phenomenon with Juwan Taylor. I think the Chiefs did the right thing by kind of standing by him as much as they did through the alignment and false start stuff, because some of that was week one nitpicky that kind of snowballed throughout the season. And I feel like, honestly, that got blown out of proportion a little bit. The penalties were bad, but having them called is bad, but I think the actual process there was blown out of proportion. And he was also playing better football then. Then go to last year when, yeah, of course, the penalties are still a problem, but I can absolutely promise everybody benching Juwan Taylor would not have helped the offensive line last year. Like, we know the tackle issues that they already had, so that just wasn't really on the table. Now we get to a point where it's week one of a new season, and I know he's also, had whatever's going on with his knee, and maybe that's hampering his actual play. But it's week one of the season. It was not a good game for him, I would think, without the penalties. And it's like holding is now getting in the mix, and he remains this incredibly highly penalized player. And Jalen Moore is right there, who got paid an amount of money that told you, before obviously drafting Josh Simmons, that the Chiefs were comfortable with Jalen Moore being their starting left tackle this year, if that's how it shook out. So presumably they'd be fine with him as your starting right tackle. And almost all of training camp and all of the preseason, Jalen Moore was working in at right tackle. He wasn't working at right tackle and left guard. He wasn't working at right and left tackle. It was about getting him into the flow on the right side as Taylor was coming back from the knee, and maybe the Chiefs just thought that's the most likely injury spot, or we want to have a real contingency plan if the penalties and the play become issues for Taylor. Like you said, this is his last year in Kansas City in all likelihood. Jalen Moore's got a 2-year deal where if he's your starting right tackle next year, I think that's perfectly fine with him and Josh Simmons on the bookends. I think the ingredients are there for a change that they weren't in recent years. I would still guess it's going to be a little bit before that ends up making it to the starting lineup, but I think it's a lot more plausible than it has been.
Brisco, before we let you get out of here, we're obviously here at Community America for a Red Friday tailgate. What is your new favorite KC Wolf of the international ones? I see the real one here. Which one do you like the best of the international KC Wolves?
Is there more than I saw the Irish one? Are there more?
Dude, there's like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh my, this is like, I didn't know that KC Wolf had like Pokemon regional forms now. This is the best day of my life. I thought it was awesome that there was an Irish KC Wolf that appeared to be like just a ginger KC Wolf. I was like, oh, okay, that's... I didn't know what we were doing there.
There's one for Germany and all kinds of places. You're going to have to research this so we have an answer next week.
I'm going to have an answer right now. I'm looking at it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, hold on. Well, the pants of the Spanish one, I think, are probably the most powerful. There's some great character design here.
Yeah.
How on earth did I miss that there's an entire wolf pack now?
That's right. That's what they're calling it.
Wolf. Casey Wolfington, Casey Wolfgang, Casey Labazo. I like Casey Wolfgang a lot too. This is powerful stuff.
Yeah, now we got you. You're down a rabbit hole for the next hour, so you're welcome.
Casey Wolfgang, they say, is as reliable as German engineering. Is that their description?
Also, he's a great chef.
Perfect. Perfect. That's Josh Brisco. We'll be listening Sunday afternoon, of course. Pre-game right here on 96.5 The Fan. Post-game right here on 96.5 The Fan. And we got to get Josh his first win. Got to get his first win. We can't be dropping below 500 by 2 games here.
Agreed.
As him as a pre- and post-game host for the Chiefs radio network. While we were talking to Brisco, I don't know, I probably didn't come across on the air in the background, but a lady was very excited, jumping up and down. She won one of the first pair of tickets for the Chiefs-Eagles game that Community America is giving away with their big ATM here at the Red Friday Tailgate. If you're listening for the first time today, wondering where we're at, we're up north at the Community America Credit Union branch off 29 and 152 here in Tiffany Springs, the Market Center, Shopping Center in KC-Mo. Free food to the first 100 people. Chiefs cheerleaders, KC Wolf, chance to win some swag, chance to win tickets to the game on Sunday. All right, Drew, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
This was our backup option yesterday. You guys wanted the beer, the mosquitoes, the sex, so we went with prison inmate today.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
Today we go to Arizona. This is impressive, actually, I must say. So
normally it's me that's impressed by the crime.
I will say this.
You're impressed by the crime.
This is somewhat impressive. So there's a prison inmate who was behind bars with a rich history of filing fraudulent documents. All right? Well, this prison inmate was able to file documents showing a judge had signed off on his early release. He was sentenced to prison, though, until 2047 for kidnapping, resisting arrest, unlawful imprisonment. But he was released in June when 3 orders were filed in his case dismissing the charges. The clerk's office is now cooperating with the Arizona Attorney General in investigating how this happened. But this guy came up with fraudulent documents to get himself out of jail. What is that, 22 years early?
So he was in jail for forgery.
Mm-hmm. He has a history of that, but he was actually in jail for kidnapping and stuff. So, yeah.
So, but he has a history of forgery and then forged his own documents and got out 22 years early? How long did it take him to realize
that I haven't been able to figure
that he had gotten out? Because that part interests me.
Yeah, I do not know. He got out 2 decades early, but I don't know. He was released in June. The story I'm just finding is September, so maybe a month or two, Cody? Maybe a month or two, because they're just now coming to light.
Pretty good.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad he's back behind bars, but...
how do you have... here's the thing about jails. You got a lot of free time, Gold. But how do you get resources to...
That sentence right there, just isolate that, Cody, my goodness.
A lot of free time to be forging documents.
Cody goes, here's the thing about jail. As if just vast experience behind bars.
Not vast experience, but not zero. When you look at where that guy is, he probably had a lot of time to work on his forgery skills, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, sure.
What kind of hobby would you pick up? Let's take out the obvious one, which is like push-ups, weightlifting.
Yeah, I think I just try to get jacked.
I don't think they let you but take that out. Needlepoint, will they let you do that? Probably too sharp.
Yeah.
Will they let you,
I'd probably just, honestly...
You can't pick up woodwork. You can't pick up big skills.
The thing that would
whittling?
Pass the most time is the key. I think I honestly would start reading, because that would.
When's the last time you read a full book? I read one a month ago, so credit to me,
Let's try maybe a year or two after college.
Woo! It's been a minute.
10 plus years.
Reading is that's a good one to pick up.
It's
that's a
very
good answer.
I'm not anti-reading. I've told you, everybody's different. I can't just go home on a Thursday night and sit for 2.5 hours and read. I want to watch Thursday Night Football.
I mean, I imagine you can still do some of that in jail. You can still watch a football game occasionally.
I think so.
But reading...
Someone says I would become the tattoo artist. Oh, I can't draw. I can't draw worth it.
I wouldn't mind becoming the barber. If they would let me learn the hard way, I wouldn't mind, figuring out... It feels like a nice thing to be able to do. Yeah. I wouldn't mind figuring out how to,
Drew, what's your answer?
Or the prison cook, right? I'm the guy who figures out how to, work out all the different kinds of ramen.
Well, you're not making Chipino in there, I'll tell you that.
No. Don't think so. Drew, what's the prison hobby you want to pick up?
I have no idea, but I would probably say, so I used to draw a little bit when I was younger, so I probably would try to find a way to get my hands on some paper to just sketch.
There's people who, to my understanding and watching some of these prison shows before, there's people who make money, doing sketches for people or drawing cards for their family or whatever,
yeah.
Drew. So that might actually be a good little prison side gig for you.
Yeah, text line. If anybody knows about jail life, it's Cody. Good boy Gold has never seen the bars.
What a weird insult for you. Yeah, Gold, get to jail sometime.
You're right. You got me. Someone else says being daddy would be my prison hobby. Someone else says if they were locked up, they would study and attempt to pass the bar exam to be their own lawyer for an appeal. What a practical answer from Lance. Practical answer. That is the trash of the day. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. Let's talk more about the 2 other offensive linemen that haven't maybe been discussed as much this week because of Juwan Taylor's penalties. And we'll also get back into what Matt Naggi had to say about Taylor right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
When you have roofing needs, look no further than Century Roofing. Voted best of Johnson County 4 years in a row and recently named the best roofing company in all of Kansas City, thanks to readers over at the Kansas City Star. That's because they have 35 years of experience in Kansas City. That's because They've done over 30,000 roofs in the Kansas City area. I've told you, man, multiple times. They've handled my own roofing needs multiple times. They've fixed it. They've told me I thought I needed a roof replacement. They said, not yet. We'll get back to you in the time that that's required, and we can help work with your insurance company. If that's warranting filing a claim, I just like to know that it's a company that's going to stick around in Kansas City to stand behind a warranty. I know they'll stand behind. Look, we had hail a couple of months ago. You know winter weather's around the corner. And if you get a branch down there, you start noticing a trickle. That's what we did. If you're not imagining it, if you hear a drip in your wall, you hear a drip, you're like, maybe that's outside, maybe that's in. Don't wait and find out and cause a bigger issue. Solve the problem now with a free estimate over at Century Roofing. Some of the nicest people in Kansas City that are super easy to get a hold of. Last time I called, I just called the regular line, and I was speaking to the owner right over there. Don't let some door knocker come by after a storm and talk you into roofing materials you might not need, and go with Century Roofing. Go with Casey Basin, female-owned Century Roofing, and trust the pillars of strength. CenturyRoofingKC.com, and tell them that Cody sent you.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
GimmeTheVin.com's big cash giveaway. I hate games and scams. So when we had the idea to give away $25,000, I was very careful about the way it was orchestrated. Get the top of the market money and enter to be the lucky person to get $25,000. This is no joke. This is no game. This is very real. Just like GimmeTheVin.com.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GimmeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan, and the other place is your sports watching headquarters this fall. Now with 5 great area locations: Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Enjoy Red Friday specials all day.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Every big play starts with a first down, and every financial future starts with the right partner. Main Street Credit Union is not-for-profit and member-owned, which means we invest in you with guidance that's clear, tools that make sense, and people who actually listen. We're here to help you move the chains. Whatever your next move is, auto loan, savings goal, or paying off debt, let's make it one play at a time. Visit MainStreetCU.org to get started.
Cody and Gold are broadcasting live from Community America Credit Union's Red Friday Tailgate in KC Mo, off 29 and 152 in the Tiffany Springs Market Center. Meet the Chiefs cheerleaders and Casey Wolf. Grab Chiefs gear and win tickets to Sunday's game against the Eagles. Only this Friday. Only at Community America Credit Union.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork.
Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
We're just getting started here up in Tiffany Springs, the Community America Credit Union, right off at 29 and 152. If you're familiar with the area, it's the Market Center in KC-Mo. Free food for the first 100 people that are out here. We got a good crowd already. We're just getting started, as I said. We got till 1 o'clock today for the Red Friday Tailgate. Chiefs cheerleaders are out here. We got KC Wolf taking photos with kids and everybody. We've got some Chiefs gear from Community America. They got their big ATM next to us that's spitting out some swag. And as
Put
I
in a
mentioned,
giant debit card, and then
right.
you punch in some numbers, and then they hand you something back, either swag or Chiefs Eagles tickets, all kinds of
Somebody
stuff.
did win. I believe they have others, but somebody won one pair already of the Chiefs Eagles tickets thanks to Community America. So
Sounds
it's
like
a
you
great
guys are getting
time.
ready for a college football game.
Yeah, do you hear the rumble behind us?
Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
great.
Okay, I knew you would enjoy that. We were wondering if that was coming across the air or not. I was like, they were worried it was going to be, too loud. I'm like, no, we want the atmosphere to come through. Yeah, it
feels like a Red Friday. You got KC Wolf here in a drum line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll talk some college football, Drew, in the 1 o'clock hour a little bit, as we got some local games, but also some big-time college matchups. You mentioned South Florida earlier in the week, and we learned a little bit about their head coach that's not named Alex Gold. And
Alex
does not have brown hair, as you told us.
And is a ginger, even though
Yes.
I don't think it's unfortunate if Drew does.
Yeah, Drew had us with a nice drop earlier in the week. But let's talk some Chiefs football. You mentioned, Cody, it's the Chiefs Red Half Hour. The names that haven't been discussed as much this week on the O-line are Simmons and Kingsley, because so much has been focused on Jawan Taylor, and especially now after Matt Naggi yesterday said that, we're letting him know that this is something that can happen. So what are we expecting in Game 2 from Kingsley and Simmons? Because, of course, the jury's still out on both. One guy is a rookie and then playing his second game in the NFL, and I told you I thought Josh Simmons was fine. Kingsley, at times in the run game, you would say was good, but it doesn't matter if they're only going to run it 11 times. The touchdown that Travis Kelce had he got completely blown up. So Kingsley is still the player that has the biggest, I actually think, question mark above his name, if you will, heading into Sunday. It's not Jawan Taylor. I know we're talking about him, but question mark, it is still Kingsley even more than Josh Simmons for me.
I was kind of hoping we were going to get in that game, Gold. We were going to get a quarter in, and then I would just forget that Simmons and Kingsley existed, and I wouldn't have to pay attention to them. We could all just move on. With a perfectly good or well above average is what I think they should be. I think they need to be one of the 5 to 7 best offensive lines in the NFL. And so my hope was that they would do that, and then we would, not worry about it. I'll just tell you right now, it is one of the key things I'm watching in the game again. And Kingsley was better than he was at tackle, but also had a couple of absolute air balls. And against Jalen Carter, Look, if he holds up against the Phillies defensive line, and it's not as good as last year's Phillies defensive line in my opinion, but it's still pretty good and one of the better ones in the NFL. I'll just tell you right now, if he holds up, I will start taking the offensive line a lot more serious, and we can focus on it. But right again, I'll be at the beginning of the game, seeing what Simmons does, and seeing what Kingsley does. Now I'll say, I don't remember who it was, Danon, and this has been pointed out a million times, but it's accurate. You have to sometimes remember that Mahomes does hurt his offensive line occasionally. Now, he also doesn't give up sacks because of that, because he's good at evading it and all this other stuff. But if you see a guy blow an assignment every once in a while, it is occasionally Mahomes did some wacky stuff that is not like a normal blocking
But that's
technique.
more impacting the tackles, don't you think? Or
Yes.
am I off on that?
No,
that's
yeah,
more
way more than Kingsley.
than it would be for your guard. I'm not saying it's never impacted the guards, but we're more talking about what it means for Juwan Taylor when Mahomes maybe does that, or what it means for, in this case, Josh Simmons as well. It's another great test. We said preseason, we were going through the schedule, how long is it going to take to get questions answered and all that, and find out the competition that they're going up against and everything like that. Week 1 was a pretty good front. This is a great front. Next week, I would argue, maybe even Jalen Carter's the best defender in the interior they're going to face, but the Giants' front next week is maybe one of the best in football. And then you get a little reprieve maybe.
Against Jacksonville, there's not as
Baltimore's
good.
mixed in there. The Lions, Aiden Hutchinson's a problem. By then, he's also more and more games removed from his injury a year ago. So this is something that I will say you're getting thrown in the fire right away. But also, this is the NFL. That's how it works.
Yeah, and we all knew that the more difficult part of the schedule is front-loaded. Drew, I didn't know if you caught that Brisco mentioned the same thing you mentioned, which is there's a real world in which they're 5-5 and finish 12-5, knowing that this is the circumstance. It's more likely now. In fairness, when you said that,
he wouldn't make the bet last week. He should have.
It's more likely now that Xavier Worthy is also absent.
Of course,
but like, I don't know, man. I told you where my percentage was, and it hasn't changed. I haven't gone up or down on what chance I think Xavier Worthy actually plays on Sunday. I think it's more probably gamesmanship
1%.
that they are messing around with the idea of making the Eagles prepare for it. But the offensive line thing, man, that's not a storyline that's going away this year, because now they really need it. Because Mahomes has time to get the ball to Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton. He might need more time than to get to Xavier Worthy or Rashee Rice or anyone else until they're back. Man, I am. Aren't you fascinated now? I want to see this offense with Rashee Rice. I can't wait these 5 weeks. I cannot wait till the 5 weeks are gone and the whole offense, because now it does appear, we asked the question after the game, are we ever going to see this offense together? If Hollywood stays healthy for the next 5 weeks, well, then we got a much better chance.
Knocking on wood for that.
Yeah,
one.
we got a much better chance at that, because it looks like Xavier Worthy's injury is not less serious, but it's going to hold him out less time. We all agree to that, right? The timeline of what we originally thought when he got hurt and left the game is shortened from what we thought.
Because the season was on the table. And there is still a chance that he plays and unfortunately re-aggravates, and that's surgery would have to happen. Now, surgery in the offseason is going to happen anyway, it sounds like, for something like this. But, yeah, I'm with you that this is essentially best-case scenario timeline-wise for Xavier Worthy, whether he plays next week or not. If he plays in 2 weeks from now, that is still best-case scenario, right? There's a chance it's next week, but the fact that it could only be a 2-game absence would be massive, considering the issues that we know this offense had last week, and frankly the issues we saw with this offense a season ago. How much do you? I told you yesterday. How much do you look at it's the Super Bowl rematch part of it now? Is it less because of the loss to the Chargers? Like, I think if the Chiefs would have beat the Chargers, we would be way more rematch, revenge tour, all this. Now it's just about, like, get yourself right. It just so happens it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Or am I off on that? I know fans, we want to look at games and revenge and everything like that, but I don't know about you. I don't view it as much of as revenge anymore. It's like, show me that you got some things corrected.
Yeah.
You need a win, sure, but it's not even the excitement of playing the Eagles would have been far more if they would have won. It would have been
now it's about
like,
how are you without Worthy? It's more about the team now.
Yeah.
You're right. Had they both started 1-0 and Worthy was healthy, this would have come into be like, you got to fight him back, punch him back a little bit. And I get it. You can't get full revenge in a regular season game to go with it, but it would have been more about that. Now I'm in survival mode. For the same, it's survival time. It is not the same as it was before, and certainly viewing this thing significantly different than I did before. Now, the reason why we didn't talk as much Simmons and Kingsley as we were planning on this week is because Juwan Taylor has been an issue. Listen again to what Matt Naggi said yesterday in his press availability about where Jawan Taylor is and what they now expect out of him. Do we have that clip, Drew?
I'm sorry. I was talking to somebody. What
Can you
do
play the
want?
clip of Matt Naggi talking about what Jawan Taylor needs to do now and how they understand that the penalties just can't happen?
Speaking to the obvious, the penalties, that can't happen, and so that's where we're at. We've made it loud and clear. Jawan knows that, he understands it. It's something that, especially in a moment like that in that game when things are a little bit off kilter now with the personnel, and you start to move the ball, you have a couple positive plays, and then boom, a penalty or a second. So 3 penalties and a hold, not good enough. He knows that. When there's no one hiding from it, he's not hiding from it. He understands what's expected, and I think he's ready for that challenge here as we go.
Yeah, I just think it's a different scenario now. They can say that publicly now.
I think they're putting them on watch
because they actually have a legitimate option. We appreciate that. They have a legitimate option as Jalen Moore sits there, and Jalen Moore financially as well is in the position where next year he's probably your right tackle anyway. So it would be easier if this thing continues to perform, this O-line continues to perform the way they're at, that you could make that switch and say, all right, well, we're setting ourselves up for next season as well, on top of also maybe improving. But I told you, I think, anybody thinking after one more game they're going to pull the plug on Jawan Taylor, I don't see it. I think they're going to give him the first month of the season at least.
But this will be something anybody who doesn't work in like a radio job or whatever can relate to. You know what just happened with Jawan Taylor? He was just put on a PIP. He's at his old corporate job, Gold, and he got put on the PIP, the old performance improvement plan. Hey, listen, so there's some things we're seeing with your performance at work, and, we'd hate to have to find somebody else who could do your job, but you're on the PIP moving forward. And that doesn't mean you get fired right away. That's not a 1 week thing, man. That's the end of the quarter. We'll talk to you at the end of the quarter, and if these numbers aren't improving, then we might have to get into this. The real question is what I think will be the straw. One is, I think Jalen Moore is waiting in the wings for who does worse, Kingsley or Jawan Taylor. So I don't think it's just Jawan's job he's coming after. I think Kingsley's job is also up in the air, at least at the moment. But I think it's like they're waiting for it to be a backbreaking moment. Gold, if we get into a game, let's say they're 2-1, they win the Eagles, they win the Giants game, and they get into that Ravens game, and it's a big-time moment, and Patrick Mahomes does some trickery or just throws a dart for a game-winning touchdown against the Ravens, and it's holding Jawan Taylor, number 74, or it's that to make him go 0-2 this week. The only way I think it happens sooner, as in the next month, is if it is a critical moment in a critical game, and he is the reason they lose. We feel like when we come in on a Monday,
right?
Jawan Taylor cost him that football game, and unbelievable. That's when I feel like it could happen quicker. Not likely, but could happen quicker.
But I will say this, when you're a veteran coach and you've won as much as Andy has, and you got a veteran staff that's been together for as long as they have, I don't think they are, and nor should they in most cases, going to cave to any public pressure that is out there to make a switch, right? Like, remember how loyal they were to Kadarius Toney for a while, and that guy wasn't drafted by them, even though Sky Moore was drafted by them, and they gave him every single opportunity. I think the game-changing thing here, as I said, is that they have a real option, we think, behind him. But with that said, they're not going to embarrass a veteran player. They're just not. Someone that has actually won a Super Bowl with this organization as well. I'm not disagreeing with anybody out there that says, hey, man, I'm sick of it. This is ridiculous. Figure it out.
Who's arguing that?
You've been with the organization since 2023. You've had multiple off seasons to correct these issues and all that. They had no better option than you in the last year or so. And so this time around, if it becomes holding left and right, which is basically going to happen, Cody, because that's who he's been. We're not going to go a month without saying that was a terrible holding call that set back a drive or a false start. The microscope is on him, not just from the NFL false start stuff, but from fans. I mean, he could play great all game long on Sunday. And then on the final drive of the game in which they got to have it, he has a crucial holding call, and nobody cares what happened the rest of the game.
Nope.
So
he
that's
could play
the
a
reality.
perfect football game for 3 quarters. He put himself in that spot, by the way. No one. We didn't create a narrative around it. He is the most penalized player in the NFL for the third consecutive year.
So what's your, right now, heading into the game, what's your guess then? Both, one answer is what you think the team's going to do and what you would do. I think the team is going to give them the first month of the season at minimum.
I agree.
I would say if this game leads to 3 or 4 penalties and, as you said, a crucial drive, I'd be willing to go to Jalen Moore next week. I am not a fan of making the switch in-game. I don't think that does any good for anybody involved.
If it looks exactly like week 1, you have to bench him. Because at that point, it's the yips. It's nothing more than that. And I don't know how we don't call it that for offensive lineman gold. What else is it? You get called for back-to-back weeks of 4 penalties and 4 penalties.
Just who he is. I mean, just who he is as a football player. That's how he plays. He was this way in Jacksonville.
But that's even beyond though. That's an even higher number than statistical at that point. And I would go to that. Now look, you run into a real problem if Kingsley gets killed. If Kingsley gets killed, then you have to choose to replace which one. You're not benching both guys. Man, that would be
that's a mess too. That'd
be a bleak look of Brett Veach's offensive line offseason. What were you saying, Drew?
I'm going to be honest. Is it fair to, let's say, I don't know, the third quarter, fourth quarter, there's a big play that's made, and Juwan Taylor has had some issues throughout the game. He commits a penalty, and they're going into the fourth quarter down by 10, and they don't make the move. Is it fair to say that, to point all the fingers at Andy Reid as this continues to happen of, dude, you're the one that's not making this decision? Because if it's just we're not going to embarrass a veteran, but we're losing a game because of him, you have to point the finger at the head coach to me if they lose the game then at that point. Because if he's costing you points, you have to look at Andy Reid and say, why are you not making a move? And if it's because you don't want to embarrass the guy, I'm sorry, you got to win football games. And if you got to bench him, you got to bench him.
Here's an interesting question I've actually got for the way that it looks for the Chiefs. Gold, we had mentioned this kind of maybe even in passing a little bit. What kind of game do you think the Chiefs want this to be? We always talk about you got to play your game. What do the Chiefs actually want this game to look like? Do they want low scoring? Do they want a game? Would they prefer a game in the teens?
That's how they need to win, Cody.
Would they prefer a game in the low 20s? Or do they think mid-20s to lower 30s is an okay range for them? Because do they want us to be a large time of possession, long drive? Because we talk about this all the time. Teams try to play their style against the Chiefs and fail a lot of times. But
I don't think it bodes well if you tell me that, based on the final score, if you tell me this game is 38-31, 38-35, I think the Chiefs are losing. You can save that bite. I hope I'm wrong if that's the outcome. I think it needs to be 24-21, 24-20, 21-17. I think it needs to be that style of game against an Eagles team that has such a good defensive front, against the Chiefs defense that last week, of course, had guys running on them all over, wide open on routes. So if all of a sudden you told me it was a low-scoring game, that would also just make me think that the defense improved drastically.
Yeah, I really do wonder whether or not I was trying to decide what style of game I thought they want to play. I'll say this. I don't think they want to get in a shootout with the Eagles. I don't think they want A.J. Brown running up and down the field, Devonta Smith running up and down the field, and them being forced to get in a shootout. That is a position more often than not they used to be comfortable in. I do not think that that's a position that they want to be comfortable in or would be comfortable in. I think mid to low 20s would be fine for them.
913-586-7965 is the Jay Southland Tow Service text line. Someone was mentioning, going back to even the Juwan Taylor stuff, but it goes into how we think the game has to go, that he's dealing with too much pressure. No person can perform under this pressure. I'll tell you, he's played in Super Bowls. He's been a pro. He's 26, 27 years old. I'm not saying he doesn't have pressure. I think he absolutely has pressure, but you can't expect him to perform now as if it's the outside's fault that he's dealing with pressure. I mean, this is the NFL. This is how it goes, man. You're starting tackle for an NFL team that has Patrick Mahomes that have you gone to Super Bowls. I mean, this is the pressure that you deal with. Now, is he under the microscope more than ever from fans? Yeah, I think that's true. I'm sure he probably doesn't feel great being in this spot, but also it's his job to still go out and perform. That's how he handles that. I'm not saying it's not challenging, but no, he has to. If that's the case, if it's true what you said, which is, hey, he won't be able to perform under this pressure, well, then he won't have a starting job in a few weeks.
And honestly, I don't want him in there if he can't handle it. Legitimately. If he's it's too much pressure that you're putting on me because I'm doing a bad job, well, then good. Then it's time to move on to Jalen Moore, and we'll see you next time. So much of it is some players don't have to play in pressure moments. We talk about this it comes to baseball playoffs or NFL playoffs and all this other stuff. The real test is when you can. And typically that pressure doesn't start till the playoffs. But for Jawan Taylor, who they did threaten a little bit's job for the first time since signing a deal with the Chiefs and coming over to Kansas City, they're going to have to make those decisions based on that. Yeah, the more I think about the game, the more I'm just like, what do they want? What do the Chiefs want this game to look like?
17, 20.
24-21 might be a dream game for them.
Yeah, spoiler, I think the social media video will be out later. I'm thinking 24-20.
You're in that range?
I'm thinking 24-20.
I'm in that range
from
too,
a score.
honestly.
The Chiefs, of course, are 1.5-point underdogs, which we're talking about in the betting markets and things like that as well. Side story for this game on Sunday. Did you see what was the hot topic on social media last night? That the Chiefs sounds like they're going to have a different PA announcer on Sunday. So Dale Carter, not the Chiefs corner.
That would be way fascinating.
Different Dale Carter, longtime radio voice and PA voice of the Chiefs. Radio voice in Kansas City, that is, and PA announcer for the Chiefs. He posted on his Facebook, and now multiple outlets have picked it up and stuff, that he's resigned just 2 days before the start of the season. Now, I'll be honest, we don't know the whole details. We don't know what transpired. He mentions in his post that there was a, quote, red line that was crossed. Basically, it sounds like something they asked him to do that he did not want to do.
Sure.
Whether that is a way he goes about pumping up the crowd, it's third down. I don't know, right? Something like
you are used to it. It is like an audio trigger.
Yeah, that's good for Kansas City Chiefs. First down. That stuff, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it'll sound a little weird for those that have season tickets. If you go to a game once every 5 years, you're not going to notice the difference. If you have season tickets or you go to games every week or multiple times a year, you'll be like, well, that voice sounds different, because Dale Carter has been the voice of the stadium for many, many years.
Yeah, not your entire childhood, right? 8-year-old Alex listened to somebody else.
Right. When Scott Pioli came in, I think, maybe I'm off on my time, I feel like that's when they changed. Maybe it was a few years before. I feel like that's when the PAs and the in-stadium stuff changed quite a bit.
Here's the truth. For one game, it'll sound weird, and then any other game after that, I won't notice.
You'll get used to it.
And this is not like a knock on him. It's
yeah.
Congrats to him on a hell of a career doing it and being in that role
He's
for
running
as long
for public office in the area, too.
Just like me for future school board, Well, I have to quit this show if I run for school board, or you guys would be doing both?
No, that's not why. He still has another job. I mean, it's just this was something that he did for 16 years, I think it was.
Would you do it?
Of course.
No, would you do it? If they offered you the PA announcer guy?
That's never happening.
Let me hear your audition tape.
I did the. Well, I'm not. Well, here's the thing. You can't do the same stuff the guy before you did.
Oh,
you can't do the
you
same.
got your own flavor. It's like being an ump.
You can't do the same. It's third down. You can't do the same thing. You can't do that. That's his thing.
I'll tell you right now, I got the worst voice on the planet for that job.
I did PA for arena football, Cody, for a year and a half for a defunct arena football team. Now, they were the Kansas City Renegades. And the league folded very quickly. And I did PA at Kemper Arena for about a year. And then I did PA for like 2 games for KU Volleyball as our tent. Sorry, my voice raised there because our tent almost flew away. Cody, you almost had to go catch it again.
I was not ready for that moment. It was not my time to shine.
Yeah, PA is a much different thing than a sports radio voice or even a play-by-play voice. It's a more distinct sound you got to have.
Look, I'm not afraid to admit what others have pointed out. I do not have what most people would call the traditional radio voice. I don't sound like our guy B-Dub, right? I don't have the silky tones of an old school radio guy. And to be a PA guy like Mike McCarthy, who's done forever for the Royals.
Maybe though, I wonder if they would ask him to.
I don't
to do it.
I know, but there's some double dipping, right?
But not now. The season's about to be over.
Sure. He might be able to cover for the rest of the year, but then I don't think that's a you can do both kind of situation. I think you got to either do it or do it. What's that? What's something like that pay? What do you think? It's gig work? They pay a few $100s per game. What do you think that pays? $500 per game? Now I'm genuinely curious. Oh man, what does that pay? My guess is like $500 a game. What's your guess, Drew? What do you think they pay the Chiefs PA guy? $300 to $500 a game?
No, they pay more than that.
You think so?
It's the NFL.
That's way more than that, but I don't know what the rate is.
It's way more than $500 a game.
I bet you it's at least a stipend. I would say at least $1,500 a game.
Oh, I don't.
Dang. Well, then I might. Your boy's about to audition. Forget my voice for a second. I'm about to try back out. $1,500. I'm going to a lot of Chiefs games anyway most of the time. Get me in on that if that's the price. I'm just trying to remember, what? Gold, I don't think I've ever done any PBA work. I don't even have your Topeka connections, I don't think I've done it for any job.
So, someone on the text line making the classic radio jokes about faces for radio. Never heard that one before. That's a first.
I don't know, man. I'm not the ugliest person. So, for what it's worth, 918. Radio say that makes me sound like I'm This Phantom of the Opera, I got to wear a mask out in public.
Dang. Didn't we joke?
At least mediocre.
We had the ratings that listeners compiled. We were we
were one of the best looking
mid-market
midday shows.
Yeah, mid-market midday shows in the country.
We were I thought third best, honestly, once we looked through the list.
Yeah, we were the third best looking midday show.
Brandon Kiley, who used to work here, that's a handsome midday show in St. Louis.
Is he in
Look,
middays?
I don't think
he's in middays anymore, is he?
Okay, well, he was at the time. That was one of the ones that was costing us.
Up next.
Hey, we've moved up. Maybe we're number 2.
Someone texted me with the reason maybe why they made a change. Okay, good to know. I don't know if I can share that information on air or not. Up next, we will get to what's trending, and then Matt McMullen, Chiefs reporter, going to join us. He's going to join us once a month or so throughout the football season. We'll also react a little bit to what he had to say, and is there a fear about a certain player after Sunday? We'll tell you who it is next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Missouri. That's right, from your couch. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose your favorite players, and if they'll go higher or lower than stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Plus, get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with as little as $1. One of the easiest apps I've ever downloaded. Come join the millions of us who have already won billions over at Underdog, and download the app today and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Flu season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Smokehouse Barbecue has always been our choice when it comes to barbecue in Kansas City. We love everything about Smokehouse Barbecue. And now Smokehouse has street tacos, their newest menu item. 3 flour tortillas, chopped burnt ends, and smoked sausage, plus corn elote and Cajun sour cream and a side. And now, every Tuesday, kids eat for $1.99 with the purchase of an adult entree. So visit Smokehouse Barbecue in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence, and at SmokehouseBBQ.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zycam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh, no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zycam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zycam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zycam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zycam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zycam.com.
At Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Hey, it's Trey Smith. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Number one on What's Trending, Chiefs, Eagles, Sunday, 3:25 kickoff from Arrowhead right here on 96.5 The Fan. Pregame coverage begins 4 hours before that, with Josh Brisco anchoring our coverage. The Chiefs currently 1.5-point underdogs at multiple sportsbooks out there, as Mahomes looking like he's going to be a home dog for just the second time in his career.
That's weird. Now, he lost that game 24-21 to the Bills, but still, that is just not a number you see very often. Feels like a line overreaction to Xavier Worthy's injury, but we'll see, and the way they looked against the Chargers, but we'll see on Sunday, I guess. They'll get to prove it one way or the other when that game comes up. Next up on What's Trending, the Royals unfortunately lost an absolute backbreaker last night. Up 2-1 late. John Schreiber comes in relief. 2-run bomb. Given up late. They eventually lose the game 3-2. Then the Mariners win an extra inning super late last night on the West Coast. Royals 5 games back. Only 15 games or so left to play. Really tough loss. Lose 3 of 4 to the Guardians. They'll start a 3-game set against the Phillies tonight. They are going to need to win 6-7 in a row. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, what I mean, they're going to go 12-3 down the stretch.
That's what they need.
I mean, that's honestly where
crazier things have happened in Major League Baseball, but it's still a long shot, obviously.
Yeah, based off of what we've seen, why do we feel like that would be?
I was thinking the Rockies went from like 10 or 15 years ago when they won. Remember, like the last 15 games to get in.
Yeah, it's not a 0% chance, but let's call it a 2.5% chance.
Yeah,
or something like that. Elsewhere in the NFL, some injury news, unfortunately, out of last night's Thursday night football game between the Commanders and Packers, where, of course, Green Bay looked very, very good. Unfortunately, their wide receiver, one of them, Jaden Reid, out 6 to 8 weeks, according to Ian Rappaport. He broke his collarbone. There was a play. He didn't make the catch, and you could tell he was in serious pain right away. He's done for basically 2 months at this point. Also, Ed Oliver, one of the talented defensive linemen for the Buffalo Bills, ruled out already for Week 2. Buffalo playing the Jets on Sunday.
Jets offense looked good Week 1. Bills defense looked bad. Let's see if maybe both those things continue in Week 2. Again, Week 1 is a liar, so we'll see whether or not that's true. Next up on What's Trending, all 3 locals in action this weekend. MU will take on Louisiana at noon. K-State will be at Arizona at 8 o'clock. Sorry, KU doesn't play this weekend. Just 2 of the 3 locals, at least on this. And KU will get the weekend off. They'll take on West Virginia next week. Will you be at the West Virginia game next weekend?
I'm hoping so. I'm waiting to talk to someone that maybe has tickets. So we'll see. I would like to.
Like
the Cincinnati game is already sold out 2 weeks from now.
Like, I know bye weeks take place in the NFL too. I don't like the really early bye weeks in college football. They get like 2 weeks in and then they take one off. I kind of want you to just be in action.
In college, they get 2 bye weeks.
Yeah,
so they get another one later.
There's always one really, really early.
And here we are.
It always feels, just like we're just getting rolling. You want to see Kansas play again, right? Right after that Missouri loss.
Lastly, on What's Trending, the KC Currents, who are first in the NWSL, do have a home game tomorrow night out at CPKC Stadium. 6:30 kickoff, taking on the Washington Spirit. A couple more home games to go. They obviously have already locked up a playoff spot. They've already guaranteed themselves a quarterfinal home match. And because of seeding and everything, if they were to win the quarterfinal match, most likely they would be hosting there in the semifinals as well. That's What's Trending here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget, we are broadcasting on location today, out and about on a Red Friday. Community America. It's Red Friday Tailgate goes till 1 o'clock. We're at the Community America Credit Union branch off 29 and 152 up north here at Tiffany Springs Market Center. They still got food from the Corn Dog Company out here, a chance to win some Chiefs-Eagles tickets. Casey Wolf still hanging out. He made a wardrobe change.
Yeah, he went to the Hawaiian pants and shirt.
He did.
I wanted to see him dress up like Casey Wolf Labasso. I didn't get Casey Labazo.
I'm wondering if our next guest, got any input in the Wolf Pack or anything like that. Matt McMullen, Chiefs reporter for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's going to join us once a month throughout the football season, and normally in studio, I think, but we're obviously on location and everything. Matt, good to have you on, man. Did you what do you make of the Wolf Pack? Did you get some say? We like the Wolf Pack, but we got the OG here at Community America Credit Union.
No, that's pretty cool. I don't have say in terms of mascot attire and different mascots around the world, but it is kind of funny. Dan Mears recently retired after 35 years with the Chiefs as Casey Wolf, and I actually share an office with the new Casey Wolf. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas, pass them my way, and I'll let them know what you're thinking.
He leaves that sweaty suit somewhere else, right? Otherwise, it'd stink up the office.
I told him that he should just work every day in the suit, like at his desk.
Like it's a This Is Sports Center commercial.
Exactly, yeah. I was saying when we went to Brazil, he should just fly all the way to Brazil in the suit. For some reason, he didn't want to do that, but, that's what I'm pushing for.
When you look at what the Chiefs have coming up on this Sunday, let's start with the obvious question. You're watching practice. I put it at 10%. Alex puts it at 1%. Drew puts it at 0. You don't have to necessarily assign a percentage, but what odds do you think Xavier Worthy actually plays?
Well, it's a good sign that he's practicing as of yesterday. I think that shows his toughness. I mean, what a tough guy to dislocate your shoulder, and 5 days later you're out in the practice field. We'll find out here in about 40 minutes what his status is, because Coach Reid will speak to the media at 1 o'clock. I'm not sure, but the good news is Coach Reid yesterday said that right now they're not considering surgery or a short-term IR stint. So if you're trying to see Xavier Worthy out there soon, that's certainly good news. I don't know if he's going to be ready to go this weekend. That's a pretty quick turnaround, but we'll find out for sure here in about 50 minutes, and either way, it sounds like if he does miss this weekend, he's going to be back sooner than later.
What did you make of just the feeling around the building this week? And obviously we heard from Matt Naggi yesterday and acknowledging that, look, they're going to hold Juwan Taylor, it sounds like, accountable, for some of the false starts and holding, saying, quote, that can't happen. We've made it loud and clear. What do you make of just this team's mentality in trying to correct some things heading into week 2?
Yeah, the energy is very good. And, I looked it up because I was just curious. In the Patrick Mahomes era, in games that he started, the Chiefs are 19-4 after a loss. The Chiefs have only lost back-to-back games with Mahomes 4 times in 7 years.
And never 3 in a row, right?
Never 3 in a row, no. And they've only lost back-to-back games once in Mahomes' last 64 games played. So how does that happen? Part of it is Mahomes is incredible, but the other part of it is there's accountability in the building. And when things don't go well, they quickly find a way to turn things around. I mean, only losing back-to-back games 4 times in 7 years is just ridiculous. So I'm confident that what went wrong in Brazil, they're addressing it. It's a matter of going out there and playing and fixing it and trying to figure out what went wrong and correcting it. But, I think this is a great opportunity, honestly, because as quickly as the scripts can flip and everyone can be saying, hey, this is wrong and this is bad, if you go out there against the Eagles and play really well and win a football game against a very good opponent, everything changes narrative-wise. So I think it's an awesome opportunity. I think that's the way that they're viewing it. I think the energy is going to be awesome in the stadium. And that's another thing that I'm thinking about. Brazil is a really cool experience, but there's a lot that goes into it. You got to fly a long way, long bus ride, all that, in a different stadium, a different country. Patrick said that the team came out flat, in his opinion. There's no way the team comes out flat this week with the season opener at home. The crowd is going to be going crazy against the Eagles, of course. I think the energy is going to be great, and hopefully that leads to a fast start.
We're talking to Matt McMullen, Chiefs reporter here on Cody and Gold. We were saying that if the week 1 result was different, I think I would hear more of the revenge and it's the Eagles and all this. I think everybody wants to beat the Eagles still, but it's to me more about, hey, get right and get your stuff figured out. What do you make of that? Do you notice that I feel like this would have been more of a true talking about the Super Bowl more and the build-up like we had planned on, frankly, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think that's a fun thing to talk about, like, externally, but even if the Chiefs had won last weekend, I don't think, like, revenge would really be a thing that was talked about in the building. The Chiefs, one of the reasons they've been so successful over the years is they don't get too fixated on things like that. I think they'd all say that was in the past and that was last season, and frankly, in a lot of ways, these are two completely different teams that are playing on Sunday compared to what happened in the Super Bowl. So I don't think even if they had won, there would be the big revenge factor. I think it would just be a game against a really good team. And what Patrick said a few days ago is we're playing the reigning champs, right? And this is a chance to see how you stack up against the reigning champs early in the year. And it's also a long season. You have to just get a win is the idea. It's not about, get more points or more wins or anything in the standings because you beat the Eagles. It's just about trying to get in the win column and get things going.
But like we know, when a team starts 0-2, their odds of winning a Super Bowl, going to a Super Bowl, that says a little bit about where you are as a team historically. I understand. The Chiefs are the exception to a lot of rules. So I'm not saying they don't have any chance or anything if they start 0-2. But in a lot of ways, it feels like it should be easier in this game just knowing that your plan is your plan. You're not getting thrown off kilter. I know they didn't want to use that as an excuse, Matt. I'll use it for them. I think having a game plan in which we're using Xavier Worthy a ton, and then all of a sudden 3 plays into it, it's like, oops, now we got to do something different. The 5 scores to end the game means something to me in the sense that you solved it by the end of the game maybe of what you wanted to do.
Yeah, there's no question that you lose maybe your best offensive skill position player 3 snaps into the game when likely the game plan was largely built around him. It's going to throw things out of whack a little bit. And they got off to a slow start likely because of that. To your point, though, yeah, finding a way to score in your final 5 possessions was huge. The Chiefs started that game 0 of 7 on 3rd down and averaging less than 5 yards per play. They finished the game in the second half going 5 of 7 on 3rd down and averaging close to 8 yards per play. So that's good, and that's really encouraging considering they did that against the league's number 1 scoring defense from a year ago in the Chargers, and who did it, of course, without Rasheed and without Xavier Worthy. I think that's incredible. So how do you carry that here into this game? Because against a team like the Eagles and the way that they play, you can't get off to a slow start. You have to be firing on all cylinders right away because the Eagles want to, grind you into dust, right? They want to possess the ball for 8 minutes a drive, finish with touchdowns, and have their pass rush get after you. You have to keep pressure on them offensively where they can't just be running that game plan all game long. You have to make sure they're the ones playing catch-up because they're not used to doing that kind of thing. So for the Chiefs in this game, I think the second half last week is super encouraging, but I think everyone in the building would say they got to find a way to have that success right away against Philadelphia and not wait till the second half. And that's what Mahomes was talking about after the game, that in a lot of ways that Charger game could be a great lesson for this team, that you can't just say, okay, we're going to come back. It's fine. We'll figure it out in the second half. Especially against Philadelphia, you got to come out right away firing on all cylinders. And, at this point with the energy in the building, I'm confident they can do that.
I know you've been back now for almost a full week from Brazil, but how long did it take you to get adjusted back with the jet lag and everything?
It's funny. It's only 2 hours ahead of Kansas City down there, so the time change wasn't a big deal. But it's far away. It's like further away than I think people realize. It was 6,000 miles on a plane, an 11-hour plane ride. And the funniest part is we leave right after the game. So the game ended at like 11 or 12 Sao Paulo time. We head to the airport 45 minutes away and fly back. I was watching college football on Saturday at noon, but the whole thing kind of felt like a fever dream. Like, did we really go to Brazil and do all that? Like, was I in Brazil 12 hours ago? So it was strange. But, besides the game, the whole Brazil experience was really incredible. You'd be shocked, like, how many people from all over Brazil who have never been to Kansas City or even the United States are, like, huge Chiefs fans and probably follow you guys and follow everyone's content and just eat it up. And we had this event in downtown Sao Paulo the night before with, like, 1,000 Chiefs fans, and I was blown away by it. Like, I just think it's so cool being someone that's from Kansas City and people that 6,000 miles away care about the same stuff I care about. It was super cool. So disappointed we couldn't win the game for them, but seeing Chiefs Kingdom 6,000 miles away was pretty cool.
When you look at what the Chiefs are going to have to do, I want to ask you just like positional stuff. Now let's look at it. Where's a mismatch that worries you for the Eagles? My immediate thought goes to Jalen Carter versus the interior of the offensive line. Probably most teams would say that. But where else do you feel like the Chiefs are going to have to tighten up against the Eagles knowing their roster?
Well, the Eagles have so many great skill position players on both sides. But offensively, guys like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, all that. You have to worry about all those guys. But one thing that really stood out to me last week in their game against the Cowboys, and it's no surprise, but it's Jalen Hurts' ability as a scrambler. Because they have so many weapons that you cannot cover everybody and, you're going to get him off the field, and then he scrambles for 7 yards and a first down, and you have to do it all again. I think when he's scrambling for first downs like he did against Dallas last week, and he scrambled 9 times, and 3 of those moved the chains on 3rd and 3 or longer, that's backbreaking. Because, look at their possessions last week. They had 4 possessions of at least 5 minutes, only 8 possessions in the entire game. So you only have so many opportunities to go down there and score on them if they're just possessing the ball for an eternity, right? And him as a scrambler, he's just so good at it. And again, if you can do really well defensively and cover everyone and he beats you anyway, that's incredibly frustrating, and that's how they win. So you got to keep them obviously in long 3rd downs, long 4th downs too, to avoid the tush push. But for me, especially after what happened last week with Herbert scrambling and at the end of the game, you just got to find a way to get pressure on Hurts immediately and not let him sit back there, scan the field, and then scramble for 7-8 yards, because that's playing right into their hands and how they want to play.
Matt McMullen, final thoughts on just what we were thinking for this game. We feel like this could be a little bit more of the tight ends, more of a Noah Gray, a little bit Robert Tonyan as a player Cody and I have circled for red zone opportunities. Do you what's your feeling on just how maybe they'll try to utilize the tight ends a little bit more on Sunday?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And also Juju Smith-Schuster at receiver, I think, has a chance to have a really great game. We talked to Juju earlier in the week. His energy is great. I just think he is going to have a great year, especially with the situation in the receiver room. But, people talk about Juju like he's 50 years old. He's only 29,
right.
I think he still has some great football ahead of him. I think he made some great plays last week in Brazil. Again, how difficult is it when you already don't have your top guy in Rashid? You lose Xavier 3 snaps into the game. Somebody has to step up. And obviously we saw Tyquan Thornton with the deep catch. But Juju, to me, really stepped up and was making plays in addition to Hollywood. And I think Juju has a great chance against this Philly defense to make a bunch of plays. We'll see if Hollywood can do it as well. But it helps that at least the Chiefs, depending on what happens with Xavier, can game plan knowing his availability. I think it's so difficult to kind of figure it out mid-game, losing a player of that caliber. If he's not going to play, and again, we'll find out here in about 40 minutes, either way, at least you know who you're going to go to. And I think guys like Juju, guys like Hollywood, and I like the tight end idea as well with a guy like Tonyan, who had just an incredible training camp. It's kind of all hands on deck, right? And the good news is the Chiefs, I think, all training camp, we talked about how deep they were at pass catcher. Well, this is where you find out how deep you are because you don't have your top 2 guys. You find ways for everyone to pitch in. And it won't be easy, but again, the energy in the building has been great all week. They're motivated, and I think the crowd going crazy on Sunday will help them out too.
Matt, always good to talk to you, man. Enjoy the next couple days before we get to hopefully a fun atmosphere and a win on Sunday.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Hopefully we're talking sometime soon and talking about a big win.
There you go. Matt McMullen from the Kansas City Chiefs joining us here on Cody and Gold. Of course, we know as far as atmosphere-wise, Tyrann Mathieu will be banging the drum on Sunday. We had Tyrann on the show yesterday. If you missed any of that interview, you can find it on the Odyssey app and wherever you podcast.
Let me ask you if your percentage changed at all. People are now sending out video from the practice
Yeah, he's
field.
practicing again.
Xavier Worthy's practicing. I watched him make a one-handed grab with that shoulder, the arm, and everyone is pointing out that he's wearing less padding on the shoulder than he was yesterday, as in like less security things. You want to go to 2%? 3%?
I'll stay at 1%.
I'm trying to see if I can get you up a little bit.
I'll stay at 1%, and we are going to hear from Andy Reid. We'll carry that at 1 o'clock today. Now, Andy Reid goes to the gamesmanship thing. There is no incentive for Andy Reid to say flat out he is out for the game on Sunday, right? Is there any incentive? Like, why wouldn't you say?
Maybe we go to it at 1 to find out.
Why
Sure.
wouldn't you say we'll
Game
see?
time.
It was good to get him on the practice field, but we'll see on Sunday. Let's just see how this goes, kind of thing. And my guess, maybe we have to wait till Sunday to get our answer.
Look, my answer is pretty simple in the what you asked, which is I would go game time decision. That's what I would say out loud. I wouldn't even make it hard. I would just say game time decision, Gold, and figure out, maybe because, honest to God, at this point, I'm starting to think that maybe they are thinking that way with a heavy lean towards no. But I don't know, let's see how it feels on Sunday. We got a few more days. I'll tell you this much. The standard Andy Reid rule is being followed right now, which is if you don't practice, you don't play. Xavier Worthy would not be an exception to that rule. You don't practice, you don't play. He's practiced. He's practiced Thursday. He's practiced Friday. Obviously, there's no more practices left in the week. So we'll have to find out, I guess, how he feels on Sunday. But I don't know. I'm at that same – I didn't up mine, but I was already at 10%. So, I don't want to go higher than that.
It's all a great sign for the bigger picture of, next week seems really realistic then suddenly, if that's the case. I'm just still a little skeptical on Sunday. Look, their chance of winning this game improved drastically if Worthy's out there. It's a game – he's a game-changer type of player. You still wonder his effectiveness. Like, it's one thing to catch footballs in a practice. It's another when you actually are going 100 miles an hour.
And players are trying to hurt you.
Yeah, and
but you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. The ability to do so and make life very difficult on you. There's no doubt. Don't forget, if you in life maybe can't count on much, but you could always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Stream your local NFL game live every Sunday, all season long, starting at just $30 for your first year. That's like $2.50 a month. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
It's going to be a fun time out there on Sunday. You're going to the game? You're going to cover it?
Covering it for the station. I'll be out there. I believe Logan will be out there as well. Mac's going to be doing the parabolic mic for
he's going to stand down there?
For the enemy, for WIP, which is our sister
Andy
station.
picked Philly to win today?
Did he?
He might just be. Maybe he's planning a future move to Philadelphia.
I don't
we
know.
didn't know it.
Mac is holding the microphone
Did Mac pick
on the
them to win?
sideline for the Philadelphia radio crew.
Somebody was texting earlier. I think Mac picked the Eagles to win the game. Yeah.
He might as well be. He might as well be wearing Eagles gear on Sunday afternoon on the sideline.
Interesting.
Mac's a Philly guy.
Picking Philly. Inside the last month said Roseman was better than Veach. Now he's holding a parabolic mic. I think, breaking news, Mac Morey is planning a move to Philadelphia. And he's trying to get a jump starter, which I respect, honestly, If you're planning on a move.
You're going that far. You're already just saying he's done.
I think maybe there's an opening at WIP. I didn't know
You guys
about.
shouldn't ever come at me again for my fandom if Mac is becoming a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
I don't think he's becoming an Eagles fan. I think he's just planning on a move to Philadelphia.
He's just working for the enemy is what I'll say.
Yeah.
That's all.
He's working for the enemy.
That's all it is. He's working for the enemy. Be careful of that parabolic mic. I mean, if Mac doesn't get out of the way from Isaiah Pacheco running towards him and he causes an injury, I'm just saying, Mac, it's not going to be a good
We'll
thing.
all be watching for Mac on the sideline now.
Oh, absolutely. That hair, he's going to be sweating his butt off.
Dude, I do hope Saquon just wipes him out. Would be the funniest.
Oh, my gosh. What?
Funniest. I'm not saying he's hurt, but you can't tell me it's not funny for the station if Saquon Barkley comes through the sideline and wipes out.
Trucked. Or Jalen Hurts on the sideline is still running and just runs right into Mac.
Hey, if Mac's getting wiped out by Saquon Barkley, he's likely hurt.
He might die. It would be like when a ghost comes out of a cartoon and just alters above them, Drew.
Yeah, that's a broken leg. That's an ACL injury.
Okay, I'm not rooting for that. I just thought it'd be funny if Saquon ran into
If that happens, you're probably talking about a serious injury.
Yeah, that's fair.
Someone says, what the heck? Mac loves the Eagles. Drew has the Bengals. Carrington's Chargers. What the heck's going on? Someone says, what's a parabolic mic? If you watch TV in that big round, like
looks like a dog cone.
Yeah, like that big round cone, and they're holding it with their two hands out kind of wide, shoulder length wide. It picks up. That's how you hear the hits on the sideline and stuff like that. So that's what those things are actually for 4 hours. You're getting a good workout holding that.
Oh yeah, your arms
for
will be tired.
4 hours of a football game. All right, up next though, let's talk about a player who could give us some more insight on where he's at as a pro in the NFL after Sunday. And then Cody's got a random question of the day.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Josh Simmons. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Got some friends coming over tonight to sit out on the Dream Deck thanks to All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price. It is almost perfect sit outside in your outdoor area season, which means if you've been neglecting it, ignoring it, thinking about the dream project but not building it, All Weather Decks is sitting in the sidelines ready to help you. 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Award. That's not the only award they've won, by the way. You can see their massive list over at allweatherdecks.net and a massive list of the pictures of the projects they've done all throughout Kansas City. I'm proud to say that they're locally owned and operated. That's a big thing for me. I love working with companies that live in and work in the Kansas City area. So if you've been looking at getting these projects done, why not look at some of the reviews of their work and some of the projects they've done and built over at All Weather Decks so you can see what that project could look like. Whether it be composite decks, wood decks, outdoor patios, outdoor kitchens, or covered patios like mine in the backyard, you can have it over there as well. Go to allweatherdecks.net to get your free estimate today or give them a call, 913-206-1974.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these great game day specials. 8 wings and a basket of tots for $12 plus $4 domestic OP cups. The other place, the next best thing to being at the game.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is John, and I've been on ED and testosterone treatment at Heartland Men's Health for the past 15 months. I could tell, I was starting to go downhill, and my wife kept telling me, well, you need to go to a clinic that'll specialize in that. And that's what eventually led me into the men's clinic here. Treatment, in my opinion, is a miracle. I was able to perform to an elevated position that, quite honestly, I never thought I'd see again. For my fellow men out there, if you're feeling that you're not up to par, I encourage you, contact Heartland Men's Health and you will see a dramatic difference.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Whether it's on the football field, the basketball court, the hockey rink, the golf course, whatever the case it is, the athletes that we love to watch every single day have to perform at their very best when it matters most. You should have that same thought process too, that you want to perform at your very best no matter what. You can be more confident where it counts. I'm talking about Blue Chew, a small chew for a big difference, because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Be ready when she is. This isn't just about performance, though. Give her group chat something to talk about. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. You can check out your options at BlueChew.com. There's a good offer there for you. Get your first month of Blue Chew free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Go to BlueChew.com for details and safety info and get your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here, too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Football's back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long, and you can play right now in the state of Missouri. And playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And you can play with as little as $1. I love the Underdog app, especially this time of the year. Multiple sports going on, combining entries from different sports into one selection is how I love playing on the Underdog app. So download the app today and sign up with promo code BOB to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5 with promo code BOB. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Today we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch, and
just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And we cut to size. Because just like taxes and BS, we think metal is better when cut. Metal Supermarkets, the convenient stores for metal. Find a store or shop online at metalsupermarkets.com.
When you hear that a small Blizzard treat is just 85 cents in the DQ app, you might just feel like you're dreaming. 85-cent Blizzard treats. Trust us when we say you're not. But get to DQ quickly, because this dream is only a reality for so long. Hurry and get your small Blizzard treat for just 85 cents with a $1 purchase when you sign up for DQ Rewards. For a limited time at participating locations. Terms apply.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here at Community America Credit Union up north, specifically at Tiffany Springs Market Center.
Half hour left?
Yeah, the branch right off at 29 and 152. Half hour left of the tailgate here. We're obviously be hanging out till 2, but the actual tailgate, your chance to grab some free lunch from the Corn Dog Company, the food truck they got out here, and still a chance to take advantage of the Big ATM, which is also a lot of fun. Everybody enjoys doing that. Chance to win some swag. I mean, everything from, I've seen T-shirts, blankets, bags, obviously the Chiefs-Eagles tickets,
shirts,
all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
Would you put in your real pin? What would you?
I
feel like I'm a little afraid someone might like big buttons, man. I want someone knowing my pin number.
I haven't said anything, but I've noticed people are clearly
they're
you can tell
really
they're
using
putting
their
in
real
their real pin
Yes.
on the big board, which the pin itself is not triggering. But anyways, I love it. I did notice that as well.
I think it's just habit.
Yeah.
How long have you had the same pin number for your car? Been a while, right?
Probably longer than I should. You know, it's
you think you got to change it up?
Probably one of the things I should change. But yeah, I have had the same pen for a very long time. Yeah.
Okay.
Something that you want to remember. So But yeah, should I switch it? Sure. Because it's one of those deals like a credit card when you first get it. You can set your pin, and I shouldn't be saying this on the air, but I have my debit card and one of my credit card pins are the same.
Well, yeah.
So,
I don't think that's that uncommon. Honestly.
So. Yes, I probably should switch all of them at some point, but also I don't know, people aren't really hacking debit card pins. You'd have to see me use it.
I mean, they got a skimmer, but they're getting it anyway. So
yeah, but the skimmer would just give them they wouldn't even need the pin necessarily.
Uh-huh.
I don't think depending on the card. Anyway, but Mr.
The point
Cody
is you
Tapp,
can use
the banker Cody Tapp.
The big ATM, which gives you a chance to get prizes. You don't have to put in your real banking.
This is going to be the lesson for next week for
Cody
Mr. Tapp. Yeah.
Cody, the former bank teller.
Nah, we're going to go weirder. By the way, I didn't warn you guys. That for the first class, this is just like the first day of college or high school. Cover the basics, right? Keep it simple. I want you both to be prepared for the possibility of pop quizzes.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you're in classes in session. You better get ready. It's not just
as long as the lesson isn't how to reactivate a YouTube account next week, I'll be good.
Yeah.
Don't panic.
You know what?
That was
Still
what Cody
working.
said. I remember that now. Don't panic.
Honestly, it's an easy moment to consider panicking, when you think you've deleted your entire company's YouTube account. Find us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. Live stream the show 4 hours every single day. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Pop to the top of your feed. You can catch 4 hours of this show.
Someone said they're convinced you're the banker from Deal or No Deal. The guy that's hidden, just a silhouette that's up there.
That would be
that's
pretty
you.
epic, actually.
It's you. That's just you.
Could you imagine if that was the great reveal that after all this time, I'm just that guy? I'd like to offer you $20,000.
We will get to the random question of the day here in about 7 minutes or so. Also, going to hear from Andy Reid coming up at 1 o'clock, and we're expecting some sort of update. Again, I don't know if we'll get a definitive one, but some sort of update on Xavier Worthy and his status for Sunday's game. Plus, we will still have a little bit of a fan club, more of a happy hour, as we are on remotes up here at Community America Credit Union. But I think it's an interesting conversation because this game on Sunday can change the opinion quickly on a player and whether or not the expectation and his sack totals and all that should be the same. And that is Chris Jones. Is there any fear? That's 1 week, so I refuse to say because of one game. Anybody.
Yeah.
But is there a fear? By the end of the year, do you think we could say, all right, he's just not the same player? Last year, I told you all the metrics said he was still dominant, even if the sack total was way down. But admittedly, if he has another season where he only has 5.5 sacks, then we have to be honest with ourselves.
I'm a little afraid of what happens in the NFL, which is, Gold, that's pretty much how it happens. One day we just all wake up and we collectively look at each other and we're like, uh-oh, did Chris Jones get old? And I'm not saying I'm there yet. I'm asking, is that a real fear for Chiefs fans now, that at the end of this year, that will be the conversation that we're having? That will have to be the hard conversation. If we go through another year that he has 5.5 sacks, Gold, I think I'm going to be ready to say it.
Right, but
even if he gets double teamed, I understand I could put it on Karlaftis, and you can put it on other people, but at some point you have to consider the idea that this is on more than just Chris Jones. I know, or more than just the other guys around Chris Jones, because right now it's easy last year to just be like, well, the other guys around him aren't helping. At some point it can be, well, the other guys around him aren't helping, but he used to also still do that. And I don't know. It's weird because, at his age, I think this is about the time you would consider it.
I still think he is going to have a great year. I know week one was a blown assignment, and he owned it, right? And the fact that he owned it is obviously a good thing. There wasn't any more tension between him and Drew Tranquill. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. At some point it will happen. It depends what's your real expectation. If you think there's another 13-sack season in him, well, no, that's probably not going to happen at this stage of his career. But I still think at his age he can still be a 10-sack guy, which double-digit sack is that barometer that most of us expect out of a player making the kind of money at minimum that he still is making. And next year, remember, the cap hit goes up even more.
This is another good test for it. It's not like the Eagles don't have a good offensive line. Now, in fairness, I thought they'd get to the Chargers more. Joe Alt allowed 0 pressures. He's playing out of position. And look, out of position to a point. He grew up. He played both tackle spots in college and all that other stuff. It's not like he can't play left tackle, and he's a great right tackle. So, like, maybe the transition wasn't as hard for him. But it's not like they got pressure on the other guys either, and a bunch of sacks. And if we go through 2 straight years where the only way to get pressure is to rely on Steve Spagnuolo designing some exotic blitz on 3rd and 8, I am going to start wondering if Chris Jones got old. That's going to be what I go to first, I'll be honest. Because the other guys around him have been the other guys around him. And his number and production and triple teams and all that stuff, his pressure rates, whatever, those numbers have stayed consistent.
Yeah, and I'm with you.
I didn't think he looked quite like he was just – things were just slightly off of the team on Friday. That's the thing I'm willing to admit.
I don't know if you can judge any one player truly off of that game. It was that much of a mess, missed assignments, lack of communication.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tyrann Mathieu yesterday said basically, it sounds simple, but do your job. Meaning there were multiple players that maybe were not sticking with their assignment. They were trying to maybe freelance a little bit more than they should, and that's going to cause some problems when you do that. But I still think, it would not stun me. I don't think it would stun you. If we sat here on Monday and I told you Chris Jones had a sack and a half and one of them was to seal the game, you wouldn't be stunned by that either. So it's too early for any determination. But, yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on I think, all the defensive line production. Karlaftis is also somebody that just got paid. So, what you expect.
Oh, he's got to have numbers too.
What you expected out of him, it has to be there at some point later on. But I want to be clear. 1 weekend of the season, I don't think we should say, Karlaftis shouldn't have got paid or Chris Jones doesn't have it anymore.
It's more just, do we think we'll wake up at the end of this year?
I mean, there's a real possibility. Yeah, there's a real possibility.
I think one of the guys to watch too is Charles Menhu. His name, I don't know how often his name, if any, came up on that game on Friday.
Yeah, I didn't notice him at all.
I wonder if he's a guy that also has to figure it out, because George Karlaftis, out of the entire defensive line, he wasn't getting home, but he was consistently putting on some sort of pressure where Herbert would just step up in the pocket and there was nothing in front of him and would be able to make a play.
He had the 5th most pressures in the NFL, George Karlaftis. I'm not saying he got a sack, but he was not.
Yeah.
He was not a no-show. I remember seeing George Karlaftis. I remember seeing Chris Jones sometimes. I forgot Charles Omenihu played last Friday.
Honestly, yeah.
Gold, if we're being honest. He no-showed.
Yeah, someone on the text line.
Look, that can happen in one game. I don't have to, panic over that.
Yeah, someone on the text line says it's hilarious you're framing it acting like the singular stat of sacks is the most important thing. There's advanced metrics that show he's a top 5 defensive player.
Right after I just said that about Karlaftis. His pressures.
Yeah, but we've mentioned that last year win rate and all that kind of stuff was very much in the favor of Chris Jones. But the reality of a top player, and this is why I think he'll get back to 10, because I think he is, but let's say we did get through the season and Chris Jones had another 5.5, 6 sack season. If that happens, that's 2 straight years. I'm sorry, when you're paid to get after the quarterback, you cannot tell me after 2 straight years, if in fact that happens, we cannot sit here in February if he has 6 sacks 2 years in a row of finishing below 8, that he is still a top 5 defensive player at his position. I'm sorry,
or at least he's the same Chris Jones he was before. He might still be better than most interior defensive linemen, but not the. He is clearly the best interior defensive lineman in the NFL.
I think
one of
he
the top
gets
10
a
pass
sack.
rushers in the NFL. All that stuff.
I think he gets a sack on Sunday though, and everybody can calm down.
What's that bet? Can I get that at 3 to 1, 2 to 1? Where can I get Chris
probably
Jones?
Plus 125 or 150.
He's like, what can I get for Chris Jones sack? Gold. I was thinking maybe I could get 2 to 1.
Let's take a look. I'll give me a second.
You and I both in the anytime touchdown bet in the in-office pool.
Yes, we did.
Drew, we have put in our name. It is Robert Tunyon.
25 or 28 to 1.
Did?
For the in-office contest. Yeah.
Well, Gold and I were talking about it together, and we both agreed.
If he gets one, you guys are very much so the leaders.
Dude, I'll be
It is
taking
a big
Saquon
distance.
Barkley every week for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I won't even worry about it. I'll take minus
crazy.
190 every week.
I hope that everybody in the office doesn't change their picks, change their bets.
We ought to
I'm
put
not
Big Bob
seeing-
Tunyon as the
I'm not
touchdown
seeing
scorer.
any sack numbers quickly on FanDuel.
Okay, we'll see where those are in just a minute. We'll obviously continue talking Chiefs as we're live here. 15 minutes left. I want to let you know that if you're in the area, 152 and I-29 at Community America, just off of Skyview. Chiefs cheerleaders are still here. Casey Wolf, right? The big ATM, a chance to win some prizes over there.
You just got dropped off a corn
They just
dog.
dropped off a corn dog from the free. So if you're like, I got 15 minutes and I'm starving, free corn dogs.
Cody said he needed that
They just
corn
dropped
dog.
off the. I'll try a bite. Let's see what we got. I like a corn dog generally.
I might
speaking.
during the break run and grab one real quick.
At least give it a try. I want to try the world famous. What did they say? Was it world famous?
The
What is
famous
it? Home
honey
of
dog.
the famous honey dog. We'll try that in a few minutes. So if you want to come out and see us, we'll be here until 2. The event lasts until a little after 1, but we'll be here thanks to Community America. Drew, let's get to it, though.
Random question.
The random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Drew, for you, Gold, over on the text line, 913-586-7965. Drew, the way you reacted to what was one of the more off-the-wall random questions I've done made me remember, not kidding, a random conversation I had with a person once. We'd been drinking. We were sitting at the lake. We're all sitting around having a conversation, so I will bring it to you. The random question of the day today, truly random, Gold. If you had to choose, you could to be, so in your lifetime, you can either choose, I want to know which order you would do it in. You were going to go from 100% bird to 0% person, or from 100% person to 100% bird, right? You're changing up the 100% of the version you're in.
Yes.
Just as long as you're more than 50% bird, you can fly. Do you want to start at 100% human and slowly turn into a bird, or start at 100% bird and slowly turn into a human?
So I can't just say, hey, when I'm 70, I want to turn into a bird.
No.
Okay.
It's 1% per year that you live, and you're slowly turning 1% bird or slowly turning 1% human.
Okay.
As long as you're 50% bird, you can fly.
So I would actually say start as a bird, and here's why. Because I don't remember the first, 3 years of my life really anyway, right? Like,
Okay.
I mean, how much do you remember from being 1, 2, or 3 years
Sure.
old? So
That means you're flying for the first 50 years of your life.
yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I would choose that. Now, besides the obvious issues of then all of a sudden, like, what's your family?
You have to find love
your,
late,
your family,
you know?
family, love, job is going to be a problem because you're going to be a bird for the majority of your life.
Yeah, but you can fly until you're 50 years old, which is a pretty sweet gig.
Were you taking gummies when you thought of this?
I
or
don't remember. I can't rule that out based on this conversation.
Okay.
Drew, which way you going?
I think it's 0% person to 100% bird for me.
Okay, so you're saying you're going to start as a person and then you slowly turn into a bird.
Yeah, and if hang on, am I guaranteed to last like 100 years? Is that?
Yeah, I mean,
am I gonna live
in this
to be
case,
100?
I'll give you the 100 years.
This is a heck of a
Okay.
question.
So you get 50 years. So, like, honestly,
is a very-
you're going to live like a normal human for a while, Drew.
Yeah,
You're not going to be 20% bird till you're 20, but you still can't fly. But, the feathers, you're running into some issues. Like, there is a part of it where, like, are you sure you won't want to? Like, I think I'm with Gold. I think I just start as a bird, fly for a while, and then I turn 50 and age gracefully as 100%, slowly more into human, right? Like, I've always lived as a bird. I'm comfortable with it. Versus, like, the first few years of your life, you're used to being mostly a human. Once you hit that 20, you're like, well, I'm still pretty much human. I'm 80%. And then it starts getting weird.
Yeah,
Although I got to say, being
your
able to
wife's
fly at
gonna
50
leave
for
you.
travel
Your wife's
purposes.
going to leave you once you start flying more.
Yeah, I
If
got
you
to
go the
say,
reverse way,
somebody might date you when you're 15% bird. What are they going to do when you become 50%?
Someone says bird lifespan, huge problem here. If you start as a bird, you wouldn't make it to human.
I already said you're guaranteed 100 years.
Someone else says Cody definitely was on gummies or something when he thought of this question. I tend to agree. Someone says fly around, steal money, so once you're 50, you don't have to work. Someone else says they would fly so they could go to a random island and retire.
Ooh, okay, so just fly. This is like being snowbird, but an actual bird. You're just going.
Yeah,
you're
this
just
is
like,
true. What kind of bird are we talking here? Are we talking a pigeon or are we talking I'm a bald eagle?
I'll let you choose your bird. I don't really
Then
care
I'm
which one.
I'm a hawk or a bald eagle.
I was like, I don't care.
I'm not going to be a
You're not
little
gonna be a
flying
street
I'm not going to
rat.
be a flying rodent.
Yeah, no. I'm choosing a cool bird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what.
I don't
yeah,
know.
I'm not.
I think there's some of it to where, like, I start out, as a human being and everything, and you get to enjoy that aspect of things. And then when you're stressed out and you're 50 and you're dealing with all the problems that normal humans do, I'm chilling and I can go anywhere that I want to, and I don't have to worry about anything but just eating.
But there's a
every
part of
day.
me that wants to just be used to being a bird my whole life, and then slowly transitioning into some of the human stuff.
yeah.
I'm a bird. I'm used to being a bird. Now, I will say, at 50, not being able to fly anymore is going to suck. That's going to be a tough transition.
You think you're just going to get
I'm going to
so
have to get
used
into airfare.
So used to flying, huh?
Yeah, if you're 50%, yeah, man, 50 years of flying. Now I got to get on a Southwest flight. That's gonna suck. Like, man, I used to do this.
Someone says they want to be a one duck that has a abnormally large certain part of their body.
Ducks' penises are corkscrew. Are you sure that that's what you want?
Excuse me. How do you know this so quickly, right at the top of your head?
I don't know.
This random question.
I don't know. I
has
know,
gone
but
off
there's
the
a
rails.
corkscrew, and I'm
Off
saying
the
that that's a
rails.
bad bird to choose.
Off the
Have
rails.
you seen this?
I'm just telling you, as a 100% fact that a ducks.
What were you?
Ducks have corkscrew penises. That's all I'm telling you.
I vote to end
this
this
is
right
why
now.
they keep
I
us
vote to end-
outside in
Alex,
community
don't
America
entertain this anymore.
versus inside.
I'll move on.
I
I'll
vote
move
to
on.
move on.
I'll move
You
on.
vote to move on from this?
Yes.
Someone says you're pretty much like a bird when you're a baby anyway. You're just pecking at food and stuff, throwing it away.
You're pretty much
pecking.
like a bird anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to take care of you.
Someone says, "How do I plan for retirement, though? If you start as if you start as a human, do you have to even have a 401k if you end up as a bird anyway?"
No.
That's true.
That's why I'm saying you have
I don't know. You're
nothing
still gonna
to
have a
worry
contract. You're
about
70% bird. You're still gonna want some retirement. Not till you're
For what?
100% bird. I don't know.
Someone
You're just
says-
leaving your whole family
I
in
guess.
the wind.
Someone says you got to be a migratory bird though, because eagles and hawks don't fly for long distances. Yeah, but I'll just
you kick it in KC.
I'll stay here.
Fly above the Chiefs game. No tickets.
Fly over the field consistently.
Just find a perch at the top.
I can confirm that Cody has not taken any substances since we've been on the air.
No.
I can't confirm anything last night when he was thinking of this question or earlier this morning. But you've been drinking water, and I think you had a coffee earlier. That's it.
Yeah, they're asking if I've started fan club early.
Yeah.
He's trying to come back down to earth a little bit.
Just tuning in, and what in the name of someone says is going on?
Oh, that's a tough one to just tune into. I apologize for that.
Yes,
Had you been listening, it might have made some sense. But if you just flipped on the radio and we're talking turning into a bird and corkscrew penises, there's really no going back from
Please
there.
stop saying that.
please.
We're in a public place with a bunch of people
We're
around.
both begging. Please
stop. Please stop doing that.
I promise I will stop saying it.
Yeah, you shouldn't
for
say
the
that.
rest of this show.
Okay. Well, just never.
You just shouldn't say it again. Yes.
I
agree.
can't promise that. I can promise that I won't put it on for the rest of the show. You know what my random question almost was? Do you think that if Casey Wolf would go into the conference room and let me Lee Corso style put on his head and say, I got the Chiefs winning, and I put on the
I don't think they'd let you do
the
that.
Casey Wolf head?
I think there's some rule. I bet you that person would get in some trouble for that. I
You
don't
think so?
It goes back to like the image of the Slugger many years ago. I think they don't want
Can't risk me.
any funny business with the mascot.
Not funny business. I said it was a Lee Corso in honor of Lee Corso's
I don't
final
think
one.
so. I don't think that's
Gold, did you see this text? Someone said Cody was sitting on his eggs last night.
No kidding.
Goodness.
Cody took Michael.
This segment
Keaton's-
is still wild.
Michael Keaton's Birdman, literally.
Jeez.
This is one of the craziest questions you've asked.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to disagree with that. I could have just asked about Casey Wolf's head, but instead, things get weird sometimes.
Like, I'm trying to eat some food here in the next break, and you're out here talking about ducks.
I'm just
anatomy.
We're informing. We're live here at Community America.
I didn't need to know that, though, about a duck. I really
that's
didn't.
The other
It's
That's
okay.
the other problem.
I didn't need to
there's
know.
this mental image in my head right now. It's not good. It's not good.
I'm sorry for teaching you, educating the I could have made this. Imagine if I had made this the professor.
That would have been funny, though, at least.
Imagine if I had made this.
Someone
the
says, don't
professor
let
segment.
them censor you, Cody.
Yeah, I'm a free man. I can say whatever I want. And with it, I can't. Unfortunately, there's a lot of rules.
That is the random question of the day. We will hear from Andy Reid. In fact, we're going to get out a little early because I want to make sure we get back in time to hear from Andy Reid, get a Xavier Worthy update. I'll also tell you a random text that I got like 3 nights ago. And it's very Kansas City, but I'm pretty sure it was spam. I'm not sure. That's coming up next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
well. After 40 years and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter is your go-to company for home service needs. Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer you will not want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season is finally here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to download the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Kansas. First, online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Bud Light and Tanners are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets. Only at Kansas area Tanners locations. Bud Light and Tanners. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters.
Why is Macy's one-day sale the one sale you can't miss? For starters, you'll find our best prices of the month on fall's top trends, like $99.99 for trenches and barn jackets, diamond bracelets $249, and for cozy nights in, comfy sheets at $19.99 and under. Plus, it's Star Money bonus days, when Star Rewards members can earn Star Money faster. Not a member yet? Join for free online or in-store. Don't miss Macy's one-day sale today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Smokehouse Barbecue has always been our choice when it comes to barbecue in Kansas City. We love everything about Smokehouse Barbecue. And now Smokehouse has street tacos, their newest menu item. 3 flour tortillas, chopped burnt ends, and smoked sausage, plus corn elote and Cajun sour cream and a side. And now, every Tuesday, kids eat for $1.99 with the purchase of an adult entree. So visit Smokehouse Barbecue in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence, and at SmokehouseBBQ.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
You know that expression, put a little spring in your step? Well, whoever said it must have been talking about Glide Step hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with Glide Step, you get a pillow-like soft landing, then an explosive takeoff. It makes walking feel effortless. So springy, it's almost like you're floating. And speaking of effortless, have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins technology? Well, Glide Step Skechers slip-ins has got it, and you need it. Just step in. No hands necessary. And instantly your shoes are on. No bending down, no touching. It takes putting on your shoes to a new level of convenience. Whether you're running errands, walking the dog, or on your feet all day at work, Glide Step keeps you comfortable from morning to night, all with the ease of slip-ins. Plus, Glide Step Skechers slip-ins are available in styles for men, women, and kids. From casual to athletic to work footwear, even sandals. So you can get the comfort of Glide Step anywhere, anytime. Put some major spring in your step with Glide Step hands-free Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And we cut to size, because just like taxes and BS, we think metal is better when cut. Metal Supermarkets, the convenient stores for metal. Find a store or shop online at metalsupermarkets.com.
When you hear that a small Blizzard treat is just 85 cents in the DQ app, you might just feel like you're dreaming. 85-cent Blizzard treats. Trust us when we say you're not. But get to DQ quickly, because this dream is only a reality for so long. Hurry and get your small Blizzard treat for just 85 cents with a $1 purchase when you sign up for DQ Rewards. For a limited time at participating locations. Terms apply.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes joins CDOT every Tuesday at 3:15 during the season for an exclusive one-on-one interview right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. Welcome into the Fan Club.
Step 1, we buy into this club. Step 2, we roll over to the club, either in your Mercedes-Benz or my pre-owned Acura Legend.
It's not as much as a club as it is a couple middle-aged dudes in sweatshirts talking about sports.
Bounce, 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 bounce. Now all the ladies saying bounce, 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 bounce.
But you get the gist. Here's Cody Tapp and Alex Gold.
That's right. It is a Fan Club Friday, usually in the 1 o'clock hour. We are on remote today, a little more of a happy hour, but we're excited. Starting next week, Jay Rieger is going to be providing us some high-quality spirits. They're going to be part of the Fan Club. That means the cocktails are going to go up a notch. No offense, Cody.
Hey, you know what? I've made a lot of Rieger cocktails for the Fan Club. I've been slacking a little bit, so Jay Rieger is stepping in to help the future of the Fan Club and create some of the Look, I love a lot of the cocktails there, so it's not going to be a problem for me. Maybe we start the KC Ice Water again. Remember, we did that one of those?
That's one of my favorites.
It's a great one when it's like warm outside.
Right this second. Yes. Right this second.
Yes, hammer one of those.
Yeah, we're outside. We're outside today. The KC Ice Water would be an unbelievable drink to have right now. So a little bit more of a happy hour going on here. Of course, we are at Community America Credit Union, their branch up here in Tiffany Springs. The Red Friday tailgate just wrapping up here. Been a fun day having the Chiefs cheerleaders, Casey Wolf. Obviously, a couple people took home some tickets to Chiefs and Eagles on Sunday afternoon, and I know next month we'll be at another Red Friday tailgate with Community America Credit Union. So we appreciate them having us out here today. We are moments away from Andy Reid speaking to the media. Obviously, all ears and eyes on whether or not we get some word on Xavier Worthy's status and whether or not we get clarity. Is he officially ruled out? Is he going to be questionable eventually later on today with the injury report, game time decision, whatever that may be? We'll get some sort of answer from Andy Reid. Other than that, they're a healthy ball club. We know Jalen Royals has been not practicing, but other than that, they're a healthy ball club heading in to Sunday's game against the Philadelphia Eagles. One thing I'll point out, and I think you said it with Matt McMullen, we've seen time and time again, trends don't usually apply to the Chiefs. Like, when you're the Patriots, they didn't apply to Tom Brady. Trends don't apply typically to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, unless you're convinced that it's all over.
Yeah.
But I will point out, not only have the Chiefs not started 0-2 since 2014, you know that, but according to ESPN Analytics, only 4 teams have ever reached the Super Bowl after an 0-2 start.
Okay, so not 0. You would have told me 0, I wouldn't have been stuck.
4 teams, and it's basically, do you believe trends apply to the Kansas City Chiefs?
No, I don't.
A Week 2 loss would drop the Chiefs' chances to reach the Super Bowl, according to some outlets, to 9%.
Trends don't apply to them in any other facet. Why would this trend apply to them?
I tend to.
They have played in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. I cannot emphasize enough that it's going to take if they lose this Sunday, it's going to take the entire separation of an off season to create their first 3-game losing streak in 7 years under Patrick Mahomes. So, do I think that exception applies to them? No. Because then even if they lose to the Eagles this week, unless they get absolutely hammered and a million injuries happen, there's almost no way I'm predicting them to lose to the Giants next week. They're not losing to Russell Wilson. 0-2. Pressure on. They're not a bad football team. This goes back to the thing that I think is kind of a misnomer. Last week, they still scored as many points as 2/3 of the league in the NFL. They were the 10th best team offensively last week.
And the Chargers
From
played
a points per
great
game, all the other stuff. Yeah, and the Chargers played a great game. Defensively is still where more of my worry is. And eventually Rashee Rice will come back around, and I think they can cover some of the defensive deficiencies if it turns out those are real problems and it's not every other year under Spags in which the defense, historically, Gold, has gotten better as time gone on. No, that trend doesn't apply to the Chiefs. Do I still think it's important to note that only 4 teams in NFL history ever have made the Super Bowl after? Yeah, that's higher than I would have thought you told me. That's way higher than I would have thought, man. I'm serious. You would have told me 1 teams are 0. I'd have been like, yeah, that sounds right. 4, I'm like, not bad for 0-2
And of course, then you'd be having the same conversation heading into week 3. Okay, what about has an 0-3 team ever? My guess is 0 on 0-3. I could be wrong. Is there 1 team 0?
It might be 1.
That's
if
done
4
that.
have done it at 0-2, maybe 1.
As I said, it's also more about how do the Chiefs look on Sunday. But let's go out to Arrowhead and hear from Andy Reid right now.
Right. Guys that didn't practice, Jalen Rose didn't participate today. Xavier did a little bit of the teamwork, but that was it. And then everybody else worked. Look forward to the challenge of playing the Eagles. We know they're a good football team, and we look forward to bringing them in to Arrowhead Stadium here. So with that, time's yours.
Is there any chance that Xavier could play on Sunday?
I'd probably tell you it's slim, but there's still a chance, yeah.
The initial look at the injury seemed pretty grim. Safe to say the training staff was pleasantly surprised at what they were able to find coming out of it.
On what now?
With Worthy, just coming out, it's a better outlook for him than maybe anticipated.
Yeah, no, he's doing very well. Yeah, he's doing very well. So positive, all the stuff's positive there. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it?
All right, thanks, Coach.
Well, there you go. That's short. That's all. Let's be real.
Fast Friday.
Let's be real. All anybody wanted to hear about was Xavier Worthy in that presser.
Correct.
Media availability. We can't really call it a press conference. Slim, but a chance. We're back in the same spot. What we figured.
So
You're not gonna
you
rule him
might
out.
say
You're not gonna rule him
1%. I say 5 to 10%, but we're in the same
Slim.
boat.
Some chance. Yeah.
It's not a likely scenario that he is going to play for the team, but also not 0.
Yeah, but this
It's
afternoon,
definitely not 0.
Afternoon, we'll officially get the injury report, and based on what he said, it sounds like he'll be questionable.
That's right. They got rid of the doubtful tag.
It'll be questionable.
You're either questionable or you're out.
He'll be listed as questionable for Sunday's game, and we will not know until either Adam Schefter sends out a tweet at 1 a.m. on Saturday,
Why does he do
Sunday
that at
morning.
1 a.m.
I
on
don't know why
Saturday
he
and
waits. It
stuff?
must be a part of an agreement he has. Hey, you can't say this till the game of, day of. Or we'll have to wait till, truly the active inactives. But with a player like this, let's be real, we're not going to have to wait until an hour and a half before to get the inactives. That's something that Nate Taylor or Ian Rappaport or somebody like that will have, I think, Sunday morning, and they'll just have a good lean on really what's going to happen. But I think that it's smart on the Chiefs' part, whether he really has a slim chance or not. Why rule him out now? Make Philadelphia think there's a chance he's playing. You need every advantage you can possibly have in football. So
make him question it whether he's playing or not.
If it's a percentage chance, a 0.5% chance to help you win a game, you do it. So here we are.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a difficult opponent.
I don't think he's playing, but.
Well, obviously, if I think there's only a 10% chance he is, I also don't think he's playing.
Yeah.
I think it's slightly more likely, but again, it's going to require he wakes up tomorrow. When they ask him tomorrow, here's what's going to happen, Gold. They're going to ask him tomorrow, and they're going to say, hey, how's it feeling? Yeah, how stiff, this. He's going to go into the facility, and they're going to mess with his shoulder a bunch, and he's going to have to tell him how much pain he had based on the practice.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, they're going to take him out in the field ahead of time. They're going to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And if he is everything goes perfect, he might be on a football field. Odds are, considering he just suffered this injury a week ago, seems very unlikely. Now, here's the advantage of playing the Friday. At least you get 2 extra days. Sure. Sunday to Sunday, he wouldn't be on the field. Mm-hmm. Because they get the 2 extra days, there's a slim chance, as Andy put, that he could be playing on Sunday.
That's fair.
Honestly, I'm just happy because what you said. It is the best possible news that I now anticipate. I put it at least 50-50 that Xavier Worthy is on the field for the Giants game next week, and I put it more like 75% that he'll be on the field by the Ravens game. which is pretty good considering where I thought the injury was at first, which means, we still might only be a month and a half away from the entire unit being together.
Yeah, I hope he plays. It'd be awesome. I mean, it's a huge advantage to have him on the field, even if he's limited in any fashion. I mean, he's a matchup mess for your opponent.
He's a threat.
It means that you can go into some of the game plan that you clearly thought you had some opportunities last week. Different opponent, I understand that, but still, there's certain things that you can do in the offense that you probably only can really do with Worthy on the field.
Yes.
And so that's why, of course, everybody should want him to play on Sunday. And we'll find out. We'll find out this weekend if, in fact, he's ready. The Chiefs taking on the Eagles. Of course, pregame coverage starts 4 hours before that 3:25 kickoff right here on 96.5 The Fan. We were mentioning just some stats in the analytics, and someone also mentioned like the other issue with a lot of these trends now with, who's reached the Super Bowl after 0-2. The schedule, the amount of games have changed from 16 to 17. We're eventually going to have an 18-game schedule. So a lot of these are going to be really hard to count on. I think it's a fair point from the texter.
Can't be a 7 seed and make a run. 6 seed, you
right.
just have to be there. You play an easier opponent as a 6 seed than you used to, right? In my opinion, just because of how deep the playoff field is, all that stuff goes in there. But yes, also just no number has ever meant anything to the Chiefs team. So like now this one does. Trailing by double digits, the amount of times you go to a Super Bowl, the amount of times you win it, like no statistic, no general trend has ever mattered for the Chiefs. And so like what now? I'm going to just pretend like this one will? No, they can start 0-2 and win a Super Bowl. I would say it's less likely, sure, Gold. I mean, you and I are nuts. Sure, it's less likely that they would win one, but it's not 0. That's what matters. And it certainly wouldn't be a 0% chance to do it. The fact that 4 teams, again, have reached the Super Bowl, even though it didn't say how many had won, still tells you that you can recover from it.
All right, let's pivot a little bit, and we'll get right back into the Chiefs, I promise, towards the end of the show and later on even this segment. The NBA is in its off season, although it starts like next month. It'll be back here before we know it.
Long season.
On my birthday is day one.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my birthday.
Yeah.
There it is. But I saw comments. We didn't get to this yesterday. We ran out of time. But Adam Silver was talking about, hey, fans are spending so much money to watch games because of all the streaming and all this. He was asked about the rising cost, and he said that, look, there's a bunch of games that will be free on broadcast TV. We also know, remember, that Amazon has games this year. NBC's going to have games. And he said that fans can also consume the league in other ways besides, watching games, noting that the NBA is a highlight league. The fact that the commissioner of any league would say, well, even if it's too expensive, like, you just catch the highlights.
Just watch a dunk on Twitter. You're
An
like,
embarrassing statement. Embarrassing.
He has to regret that statement. Because to say, I'm sorry that my league's unaffordable for you and you can't watch it, watch somebody slam dunk on Instagram, you'll be fine. It's like, that's not what I'm asking. I'm saying I want to be a fan of your sport. Either I'm not and want to be, because you want people consuming it, or because of this. Also, Drew, if you're an advertiser at the NBA, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about watching the game. Just go watch somebody on social media where it's not sponsored. Or
if you're any of the owners or the fans or the players, like this is how our commissioner feels about feels about us.
This leads to a broader point. I will say sports are getting to a point of cost that I do think that they have priced out a lot of everyday people. And this is not just the NBA, who's on the higher end of that spectrum. But, man, Gold, if you just, like, somebody earlier won the tickets to the game. Really excited, said she'd never been. And I briefly thought, I'm like, man, what would it – like, you just want to go, Gold, you and me. What would it cost us to get in? Like, just to get in the door.
I think $350.
Yeah, just in the – before parking, right?
Right.
Before we spend a dime in concession.
Or this one?
A Chiefs game. Even the cheapest Chiefs game, Drew.
Man, really?
Even the cheapest one, and Gold and I are sitting
we're
double
talking.
Z.
We're obviously talking secondary market, Drew.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're in the Jordan Love special, Alex and I. I imagine it would
I'll hop on
$300 for a pair of tickets.
With fees. Actually, these actually are a pretty good deal. Actually, this one's not bad right now. $227 with fees
per ticket.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
No,
yeah. $227 including row 23, section 340. That's upstairs corner. Row 23 for $227. That's actually one of the better deals you'll find. Otherwise, look at some of these prices.
Some of them are way.
It looks like you can get in. It's gone down since Monday, so probably $240 is the average price to get in.
So for Gold and I to go to a game,
are you inviting me? Are you inviting me? Is that what it is?
You're already going.
I'm going to cover the game.
$500, Drew. $500 for a pair of people to go.
I think
that's the kind of person that Adam Silver is demeaning by saying, sorry you also can't watch the game. Like, well, I know you can't afford to go, but sorry you can't also watch it on TV. Hope you like watching social media highlights is a lame-ass thing to say.
I think his comments were more about, like, the TV watching sort of thing. Because, like, I just looked it up. For the Pacers' second game of the season, 2 tickets is $47. It's not egregious. Like, the NBA has always been.
That's because they got 80, you know.
But I think it's because, one, they have 82 games, but also now they're going, like, the games are on NBC and they're on ESPN still, but if you look at, like, the actual rundown of the schedule, there's nights where you don't get any NBA unless you're paying for something like it's NBC, but it's only on Peacock on Tuesday nights, or it's only on Prime on Wednesday nights, or whatever the case is, where there's less games that people can consume on a regular basis where you have to spend money. But I think that for him to say you can just catch the highlights for free, I think it's pretty egregious to say I'm not going to help you in any way enjoy the product. You have to pay for it, or just suck it up with the highlights. I think is just disrespectful to fans and to the teams themselves, because they like having the fans there. They want people to tune into the games, of course. It's just a bad comment that I'm sure he regrets.
Similar to maybe what UFC is doing. My hope is that if you do have to pay for the cost of some of these games, that what it happens is it goes into these services that a lot of people are already paying for, rather than these standalone. I'm hoping baseball eventually figures out.
Yeah, the NFL is already doing that. I mean, a lot of
the NFL's better than almost all.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon. I'm not saying every single person listening has Amazon Prime, but a good percentage has Prime already.
Society, yeah.
You know, we went through these. Netflix. You know, maybe it's not as much as Amazon, but it's still a huge chunk. So there are some of those that you maybe already have. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like, you know, we could have a whole lecture on everything is more expensive and things like that. And the viewing experience, I actually think for the NFL, what's tricky about theirs is you can make a strong case for a lot of people. They would just sit at home and watch the game from their couch. Now, I personally think there's nothing like being at a football game in person. To me, it's incredible. But I understand why people are like, I'd rather just sit and watch Red Zone all day, watch every game, and chill on the couch and open my fridge and drink from that, right? And it's way cheaper. I understand that.
$1,200, man. I have a hell of a house party.
I understand that sentiment. I do think, you know, if you can make it work, obviously, going to even as one game a year, the atmosphere and everything is
this person's just going to run.
It's always better in person, yeah, for sports.
Cody, we're at Community America, and they're cleaning up, but there's still cones, and there's clearly a direction to drive, and Cody's laughing because somebody just plowed right over a cone.
I said they're running this car. They just drove right into it, Drew.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, someone's just trying to do a little bit of banking and just absolutely.
Hey man, it's Friday, man. People need to get their money.
yeah, payday, man, for somebody. They gotta go get their thing. I'm sorry, that was funny to me at the moment.
I wish we had a camera pointed out, and just the live stream. If you guys watched it, it was pretty comical.
Look, this is where you have to sympathize with your fans. Look, I've been on this show and I've said, people who say, I wish I could watch the Royals, I'm like, you can, it just costs money.
Yeah.
And I know that sucks, but it just costs money. But the cost of watching the Royals for the entire season is the same as 1.5 parking, you know, at Arrowhead. So, I mean, affordability-wise, there is still a thing. League Pass, Drew, is what, $300 last I checked?
No, League Pass is less than that. League Pass, I think, for me was
Sunday Ticket is over $300.
Yeah, Sunday Ticket. NBA League Pass, if I remember correctly, because I get NBA.
It's over,
I love the NBA, and I get League Pass. I think for a full season, it's $169.
Okay, so not a little bit more expensive than a full season of baseball.
And you don't have to do the full season. You can go month by month as well.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, obviously people do for FanDuel TV or the other stuff.
Totally.
In order to watch the Royals.
But that's for the whole league. That's not just for any local team. That's for the whole league.
But if Rob Manfred gets asked, hey, man, I'm having a hard time paying to watch your games. What do you suggest I do? And he's like, I don't know, watch Aaron Judge hit a homer on social media. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah,
I'm talking about, like, can you get some more nationally televised games? Can you get some local ones like the Royals did this year? Can you give me access to your sport without it costing me an absolute fortune? And the question is, like, do you eventually hurt your viewership? The NFL's untouchable. Let's leave them out of this conversation for a minute. But, like, if you're the NBA and you make your product hard to see, can you keep people invested? Can you keep the sport
I think that's
growing?
something Charles Barkley's been vocal about even while being on TV, is that they're isolating, like, the league, and teams are isolating fans just because of the cost of things. Or when you hear comments like this, like,
yeah, that's just...
You can tell that Adam Silver doesn't care about the sport. He cares about making money. he didn't even have to say anything about free or anything like that. But the fact that he went out of his way to say you can watch the highlights for free, all he's thinking about is that money mindset. As a commissioner, it makes some sense, but you also, I think, need to care about the sport. Where Roger Goodell, as much as he and the league are all about making as much money as they can be, I think Roger Goodell genuinely has a love for the sport of football, and it comes across.
It's weird for the NBA because maybe I'm the minority here. I'm glad the games are on NBC this year. To me, that means it's easy. That's good for me personally. I have Prime, and we've talked about it.
Way more likely you're just going to run into a Celtics-Lakers tonight on NBC.
I'm probably more likely to watch an NBA game this year than I was last year. I'll be honest. I love the TNT crew, and they're obviously going to now move over to ESPN, and we can watch it there. But the fact that NBC is going to have, I don't know how many it is a week or whatever, but they're going to have primetime NBA games on over the air. To me, that actually is one way to make it more accessible.
I agree. So the thing that's interesting, so there's games on Peacock on Monday only. There's no NBC games. It's Peacock only. Tuesday, there's NBC and Peacock. I don't know what the stipulation is with that. Friday is Prime only, of course, and then additional national games starting in the midseason. Thursday, you get Prime as well as other things. But it seems like we're not going to get as much.
Crazy.
We're not going to get as much direct NBC, ABC type of games. It'll be about the same as what we've had previously. It's just if you're subscribing to Peacock, you might be able to see a little bit more over the course of a week.
Yeah, and I don't subscribe to Peacock, and I won't because I'm not
until the playoffs hit.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that unless I have to for an NFL game. But Amazon Prime is one of those where at this point, like my guess is the rest of my life I will be paying for Prime.
Yeah,
my guess is the rest of my life I will be paying Amazon Prime.
I always look
between
at
streaming and everything.
Streaming.
Oh yeah,
I order way less stuff off of there now. I'm like, what if I could just get away with it?
But
now Thursday Night Football's on there.
Well,
every
that's
week.
the thing.
It's like such a mess.
And then some of these other ones, it depends on your internet provider and cell phone. Like my cell phone provider, I get Apple. Like I would not pay for Apple TV on its own, but it comes with my cell phone provider. You know what I mean? Like you can bundle Hulu and ESPN or whatever it is together. So depending on your internet, I'm not going to throw them out. You guys know the internet providers. Like some of them offer multiple. Like mine also MLB TV. I can watch any MLB game other than the Royals through not paying for it because I technically am paying for it through my cell phone benefit.
Sure. And look, I don't know what your cell phone bill is. Maybe it's higher than other people's because of that, but you don't feel it the same way. I don't know. It felt out of touch. It felt really – I bet he went back to his office and he was like, I shouldn't have said it that way. Because he got crushed. And he's in the middle of this Kawhi thing, too, because that's not going away. Pablo Torre uncovered more stuff, and it's looking far more damning and way harder to deny the fact that he is probably very guilty of this. I mean, for instance, if you guys haven't been following the story, there just so happened to be a late payment as this company was going bankrupt. And everybody's payments were late. People weren't getting paid their salaries. And it just so happened that a real late payment of Kawhi Leonard's for $1.75 million came at the same time a $2 million cash infusion to that company came from Steve Ballmer's college buddy. And I'm sure that that's just happenstance and not an accident in any conceivable, whatever.
And all of a sudden, Kawhi's knee problems kind of went away after he would have gotten the payment too. All of a sudden, his load management had
it's all shady. It's all mess.
Crazy.
Mark Cuban's out here doing a media tour.
He had to probably drop it because he looks
backing up Steve Ballmer. Well, look, I have no idea if he did anything. My guess though is Steve Ballmer can't be the only owner that potentially was doing this kind of activity. So I'm sure they're going to protect each other.
Man, I can't understand how this thing flew under the radar so long. I did like that every league was pretty much like other offices would prefer you did not look at their leagues too, because you and I both we're not naive enough goal to assume you're the team who got caught. I'm assuming another NBA team did this.
Right. Up next, we will get to what's trending. Then, of course, our game predictions and how we see the rest of some of these other NFL games. There's obviously some key matchups later on this week, and besides the Chiefs, we'll do all that next here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You can play underdog right now in the state of Missouri, and it's super easy. You just choose which favorite players will go higher or lower than their stats, like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and so much more. And get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can start with as little as $1. Like I said, with football back, you know the best place to select entries. It's over at Underdog. Looking at some this weekend, obviously Kansas City, home opener, a chance to take a look at this thing and all right, what's this going to look like? I'm double dipping. I know that I was just shy of it before, but I like Travis Kelce to go higher than his receiving number for this weekend because they're going to have to use him, and now they're going to have a game plan that does not involve Worthy. There's lots of great selections you can make over at Underdog and lots of different ways to play. Ladders to streaks to pick'ems and champions. You can choose the way you want to select your entries over at Underdog. Like I said, I mentioned, right? You can win up to 5,000 times your money. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-in-good-terms_DFS_.html for details. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Confidence is key. You hear that all the time when it comes to everything in your life. The players that we watch and all the winning that we see comes from players who are confident and are able to deliver when it matters most. What if you could be more confident where it counts? I'm talking about Blue Chew. They provide access to chewable tablets that help you feel and perform at your best. Stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Day nights just got longer and better for everyone. Be ready when she is. Turn oh no into oh yes with Blue Chew. This isn't just about performance. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. There's an offer for you there. You get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 in shipping. That's it. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Before I met these lawyers, I was kind of spinning my wheels. After I met these lawyers, they gave me a sense of worth, self-worth. When someone's fighting for you, it just makes you feel like you're not alone no more. My lawyer gave me my life back.
Visit MissouriLawyersHelp.org to learn more. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Brought to you by the Missouri Bar.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these amazing game day specials. 14-inch two-topping pizzas for just $12 and $4 domestic OP cups. The other place with 5 great Kansas City Metro locations.
Flu season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
It's football season, and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Why is Macy's one-day sale the one sale you can't miss? For starters, you'll find our best prices of the month on fall's top trends, like $99.99 for trenches and barn jackets, diamond bracelets $249, and for cozy nights in, comfy sheets at $19.99 and under. Plus, it's Star Money bonus days, when Star Rewards members can earn Star Money faster. Not a member yet? Join for free online or in-store. Don't miss Macy's one-day sale today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Hey, almost Andy
Reid here. It's been an honor to give back to the community that's embraced me being almost your head coach. Thanks for letting me be part of your team. Renner Garage Door is a teammate of mine that also values the community that they served for decades, always giving back and delivering wins with top brands like Geldon, Amar, and Liftmaster. Need a repair or replacement? Get a free estimate today. Forward and back.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R. This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A., member FDIC.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/Gator XUV.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
Number one on what's trending, of course, the Chiefs getting set to take on the Eagles this Sunday afternoon out at Arrowhead. The game right here on 96.5 The Fan. We continue to broadcast outside, as you can hear maybe from the wind a little bit. We are at Community America Credit Union, their Tiffany Springs location. We wrapped up a great Red Friday tailgate. We just got official word on how the Chiefs are updating the injury status of Worthy. Remember, Andy said a slim chance. Xavier Worthy officially listed as doubtful. So we were talking about the injury designations. They got rid of probable.
That's what it was.
But Xavier Worthy is doubtful for Sunday's game against the Eagles, which sounds about right, if we're being honest.
Next up on What's Trending, the Royals start a 3-game set in Philadelphia. It's Philly on Philly weekend for Kansas City and Philadelphia. They obviously fell 5 games behind the final wildcard spot after a loss last night. A devastating 2-run home run given up by Schreiber late. The Mariners came from behind and won in extra innings as well, causing more problems for their playoff chances. They're down to the slimmest, and I do mean slimmest of margins as it sits right now. You can catch Royals baseball tonight right here on your home for Royals baseball 96.5 The Fan. Obviously, you're home for Chiefs football as well. You're home for Kansas City sports. You can catch all of those this weekend.
Some other injury news in the NFL. The Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. He broke his collarbone last night in their win against the Commanders. That according to Ian Rappaport. Also, Buffalo Bills talented defensive lineman Ed Oliver, who came up with that big sack of Lamar Jackson on Sunday Night Football. He is going to be out for week 2. as the Bills take on the New York Jets. One note, by the way, from last night.
I saw Christian Gonzalez is out for the Patriots.
Christian Gonzalez is out also. It was pretty obvious when we saw it last night.
That's the second week in a row, right?
Yes, I think that's right. Austin Eckler, we all knew it, unfortunately, right away. But Austin Eckler tore his Achilles in the loss last night. He immediately, non-contact, grabbed the Achilles area. It was one of those we've seen far too much. We all kind of just know what it looks like now when it comes to the ruptured or torn Achilles.
Next up on What's Trending, 2 local teams in action this weekend. Missouri will take on Louisiana at noon. K-State will be in the evening game at Arizona at 8. Dylan Edwards has been cleared to play. We'll see if that makes a difference for Kansas State, who is and should be an underdog in this game. They might have been anyway because it's on the road. I'll be honest, I have no expectation of Kansas State winning this game based on the way they've started their season, unless they're going to turn it around in a hurry.
They need to.
I mean, it'd be hard to imagine K-State turning around that quick based on how they performed against Army.
It feels like one you got to have, though. I mean, this thing is getting ugly.
Or
in a
it's
hurry.
derailing.
Yeah, it's getting ugly in a hurry there in Manhattan. Elsewhere this weekend in Kansas City, Saturday night out at CPKC Stadium, the Kansas City Current are home, taking on the Washington Spirit. The Current first place in the NWSL. They know they'll at least be hosting one playoff game in the quarterfinal. They still got a couple more home games to go here until the end of the regular season, and I believe kickoff is at 6:30 tomorrow night. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Thanks again to Community America Credit Union for having us out today. A ton of fun for this Red Friday tailgate. We'll be in October at 2 other Red Friday tailgates with Community America Credit Union, so stay tuned to the station and our show. Over the next couple weeks, you'll hear us again talking about where we are going to be out. But today we're off of I-29 and 152, Tiffany Springs Market Center. A couple people took home some tickets to the Chiefs-Eagles game. I must say, the food was, they always do a different food truck. They had the corn dogs today, and like I was telling you, I was like, I'm not usually a big corn dog fan. These were awesome. Dip in a little honey.
It was
they
good.
Said the famous honey dog, and they weren't lying.
Good.
They weren't lying.
I wasn't sure I was ready. They brought it over. I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat this corn. I'm going to take at least a bite. Put on the, but no, it was really good. So thanks, I guess, to that. Again, we'll do these
Corn Dog Company, right?
Twice in October, so keep an eye out on our social media channels and everything else like that. We'll do 2 more of these coming up in October at minimum. I think the next 2 are in Raymore and Blue Springs, so depending on what part of town you're in, might be able to hit your part of town next. We did one of them out in, I think, OP last year, so they move around the city a little bit. So depending on where you are, keep an eye out on our socials, get a chance to win tickets. Again, it was nice at how excited that person was. They said they'd never been to a Chiefs game.
She was crying.
One ticket, she was crying.
It was awesome to see.
She said, what do I do? How do I go to the game?
It was great.
It's okay. We'll talk you through this.
It was great. Yeah, that was really cool to see. She was in line at the big ATM as Community America gave away the pair of tickets to the game. Before we get to our Chiefs predictions for Sunday, if you've been listening to the show all week, you probably have at least a decent idea of kind of how we're leaning for the game and how we think the game has to go for each team. But I do want to talk a little other NFL, some loaded week 2 slate, I should say. There is 2 Monday Night Football games this week as well. Monday we'll have time to talk about the Chargers-Raiders game more. But I am interested to see what the Broncos look like. They play the Colts. It's also a 3 o'clock window game, so it's going to be on at the same time. We're not going to really be watching it. But Broncos, Colts.
Pretty mediocre.
Broncos are 2.5-point favorites against the Colts. And the Colts were so dominant against the Miami Dolphins, and is it the Colts are much better than we think with Daniel Jones, or is it that the Miami Dolphins are just not a good football team and it's going to be this long season and Mike McDaniel's going to get fired? So I want to see, do the Dolphins show any life? Do they bounce back? And then, Bo Nix, he was okay. He didn't play all that well in a win, but they were playing the Tennessee Titans.
He just didn't look improved. So, I'm interested in that game. Look, the Chargers-Raiders game, like you said, that becomes a far more, no matter what, someone's not going to be, all 3 teams are going to be 2 games ahead of you. Even if you lost this game, one of them is going to lose eventually. And in that case, you'd probably be rooting for the Raiders to pull the upset and figure it out. I do think that is. The Broncos and Colts are 2 teams. Broncos surprised last year, right? Bo Nix played well. Defense was one of the better ones in the league. They managed to sort it out and work through their problems. But then at the same time, it's like they were a turnover machine. Bo Nix looked mediocre at best, in my opinion, and they still did it. The other one that interests me is Jags and Bengals. That's 2 teams, Bengals who have some expectation but looked mediocre but found a way to win and look mediocre, which is not something they did at any point last year. And the Jags looked better than I thought they would, including Travis Etienne, but we'll be taking on Cincinnati. And that's just like a regular old noon game on a Sunday, where I still think that if Cincinnati is a serious playoff contender, as in like they're a threat in the playoffs, not just to go to the playoffs, this is the kind of game they're supposed to win. Not just finally get a Week 1 win and then immediately give it back to the Jags at home.
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on that one. I also am just intrigued, by the Cowboys a little bit. I know it's an NFC team, but in Week 1, they should have beat the Eagles.
I agree.
They should have beat them.
They kind of choked late.
They're at home. They're playing a Giants team that looked just horrendous against the Commanders. Russell Wilson, here's why it's intriguing if you're a Chiefs fan, why you should care about this game.
Dart?
If Russell Wilson looks bad, and I actually don't think Week 1 was really like him. The whole team just looked like, you know what? If they are terrible in Week 2 and Russ doesn't play well, there will be more calls for Dart. And is there any chance that the Chiefs could get stuck playing the rookie Jackson Dart in Week 3 instead of Russell Wilson?
I mean, it certainly can't be ruled out, I would say, depending on which way it works. I would say more than plausible that that's the case. But at the same time, it's asking the question of, are they going to – why even start Russell – like I said this before. I would have started Jackson Dart from the beginning. What's the point of even starting Russell Wilson if 2 weeks into it you're going to switch quarterbacks?
I agree.
And then you're going to let Dable ruin him, and then you're going to change offensive coordinators and head coaches in the offseason. It's just like a horrible, horrible plan. At least you can fire Dable, and he doesn't have too much influence on him, as in he's not starting games losing his confidence. His problem is that it looks like Malik Neighbors is done with Russ. He is done with bad quarterback play, and that man is ready to be free.
Yeah, he was arguing with Brian Dable on the side about it as well. Then the only other game, that I'm kind of interested in, other than the Monday night ones, which we'll get to on Monday, a little bit on the Houston Texans side. The Texans are playing the Bucs. The Bucs.
I'm so uninterested in the Texans anymore.
Well, that's the thing. You know how I feel about the AFC South. I like the Jags. If the Texans were to lose at home to the Bucs, then what are we saying about Houston moving forward? The Bucs came from behind, beat the Falcons. Egbuka looks like the real deal. They're talented rookie wide receiver. The Texans, the O-line is still a major problem for them. We knew that going into the season. They're already 0-1. I mean, if they lose at home and they start 0-2, the division was already kind of open to begin with. But then, even if this is a non-divisional game, if Houston's 0-2, then I feel
and the
really
Colts
good.
Maybe upset
or if
the Broncos.
Or if the Jags upset Cincy, like all of a sudden it's a different team atop the AFC South, and the Texans in that division, as open as is, your path to get to the playoffs probably is only winning the division. Maybe you think there's two teams from the South.
No,
I only think it's one. Yeah, so this is a big one, I think, for Houston, and they are favorites, and we'll see how that plays out.
Here's the thing that happens to every quarterback. They have a great rookie year. They have a kind of not as good second year, but certainly no embarrassment. And then they get stuck in where I start judging you for real. At the end of the third year, I either start placing you gold in the top 10 quarterbacks among some of the NFL's best where you belong, or congratulations, welcome to the quarterback wash. Stroud has another mediocre or pretty good, that's not mediocre, pretty good NFL year. Welcome to the wash, my friend. You're like every other quarterback. I don't care what you did your rookie year or how you looked in those circumstances. You're every other dude. That's where I am with him. Like Trevor Lawrence has already played his third year, and he already got sunk into the different group. But I feel like year 3 is always a huge swing for where you're eventually placed, and where people think of you as an NFL quarterback.
The Circa Millions contest. We've been talking about it all week because you, me, Dusty, Bink, Rob, Speck are all on this team. We put in an entry. And ideally, you win the contest, and there's millions and millions of dollars on the line. But there's also 126 different ways to win. You can win quarterly. You can win by being top. You could also win by being a team at the bottom. And we started 0-5, and so we're closer, obviously, to getting the last place quarter prize, which they call the booby prize. And we went with the strategy that surely will not backfire at all.
I'm sure we'll go 4-1 this week.
Which is trying to pick the losers, which is the same as trying to pick the winners, but here we are. Do you think we come back on Monday, unless we pick a Monday Night Football game, are we going to be better than 3 wins? Like, are we going to be 0-5, 1-4, or are we going to be like at least 3-2 is terrible. We don't want 3-2. I'd rather be
2-3. At least still keeps me alive for the booby prize.
Yeah.
I think we're going 1-4.
I'll take 1-4.
I think we're going 1-4. I'm feeling good about it. Doesn't make any sense based on how we started and our ability to pick games before. I'm feeling good about it. Right now, my picks were Baltimore -11.5, These are, again,
opposite.
I think the opposite, but my selections were Baltimore minus 11.5, Indy in a pick'em. So I think Denver's going to win outright. And what was now I can't remember my third one.
I'm switching mine around anyway.
What, already?
Yeah, because I'm looking at other people. Remember, we have to have a consensus to submit. So like the boss put in some of his as well. So I'm on Indy pick'em, meaning I actually need Denver to win for our sake. Baltimore minus 11.5. I actually want Cleveland to cover. And then Specs on Houston minus 2.5, and I kind of like that because I think the Bucks win. So in cover, they don't even have to win, but just to cover. So the consensus picks from our group right now, the deadline's till 5, so we have time. It looks like the picks we're going to be using based on submissions. Indianapolis pick'em, meaning we want Denver actually
to win.
That's going to be one of our 5. It looks like we've got 2. So we're going to have to make some decisions because it's a mixed bag. We got 2 on Houston, 2 on Chargers, only 1 person on Seattle, so I don't think we'll be using that. Dusty hasn't put his picks in yet. I don't know what he's doing.
He could swing it.
Yeah, he could swing it big time, so we'll see.
Look at you guys rooting on the Broncos for a chance at 25.
I like winning $25,000.
Look, will I feel bad if the Broncos lose? Sure won't.
Of
Fine
course
with
not.
me. Also, Drew, I don't fear other teams in the division. I don't have to root for their every win or loss. The Chiefs usually dictate the terms on that.
They have 2 games against Denver still. They have 2 games against the Raiders still. They still have 1 at home against the Chargers. There's plenty of opportunity to get back at that.
I'll tell you right now, if 6 people who all work professionally full-time in sports media win the Booby Prize, boy, what does that say about us?
But well, now we're trying.
You're $25,000 richer is what it
says.
Yeah. It says I'm $25,000 richer.
Neither one of us, look, it's nice to be right every once in a while, don't get me wrong, but also, if you tell me that I have to be wrong for the rest of my life, but I'm going to be a millionaire, I'll take that. I'll do that.
Care?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like being right enough that it doesn't negate my desire for cold, hard cash. And to be clear, it's still a huge long shot that we win the Booby Prize.
But for 1 week, let's dream a little bit and let's see what happens.
Agree.
All right, let's get to the Chiefs game again. Chiefs, Eagles, Sunday afternoon.
Official game prediction time?
Yeah, it is time to do that. We'll take your guys' on the text line as well, over on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Look, I think the Chiefs' woes on defense, some are going to take weeks to fix, and some may not get fixed. Okay, I recognize that. Personnel, we might look back and say, well, they don't have the guys. Okay, I'm not ready to say that yet. For me, so much of that performance defensively was guys were not in the right spots. Miscommunication, mistake, whether it's doing their job or just guys not being sharp. Spags admitted he wasn't sharp. He said he had 4 or 5 calls, whether they were on third downs, I don't know, that were wrong. They weren't good.
Then he wishes he had gotten back. Yeah.
Bad calls. I think they will be much sharper as a team. Does that guarantee a win? Of course not. But I'm banking on the fact that they're at home. I think the defense looks a little better. The offense has a full week to game plan without Worthy. He's listed as doubtful officially by the Chiefs. The Arrowhead part of it I really think matters. Mahomes has only been an underdog, I've said it over and over, at home one other time. And yes, they did lose. But anytime I get points and people are starting to doubt them, and doubt the Chiefs and all that, it typically bodes pretty well for them. And so I'm going to go with the Chiefs 24-20 winner over the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. And on Monday, everybody can just take a deep breath and let's relax a little bit. Because otherwise, they're 0-2. I know what the conversation is nationally. Locally, we'll be concerned, too.
It'll say it's over.
Nationally, we'll say the season's over. I won't say that on Monday. But I will definitely say the division is in serious jeopardy.
Yes.
Because you're just digging yourself a hole.
I think that's probably the most realistic answer you would give in this. Saying it's over for the Chiefs right now, unless you think that they're in the middle of the overturn of the dynasty run, which has happened to every team in NFL history. It even happened to but I don't know. People say it happened to the Patriots because they went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl. Is it okay to point out that they went to 5 AFC championship games and went to 2 Super Bowls during that time?
They don't fall off the face of the earth.
They weren't just gone. Mm-hmm. They had some wild card losses or some divisional round losses. They weren't out of the picture. They didn't ever come back. They didn't swing and fight, which is why I don't think they're going to lose this game either. Patrick Mahomes has never lost 3 games in a row. And even for him to lose 3 games in a row, it would have to take a Super Bowl that he lost and 2 regular season games. It wouldn't even be 3 regular season games, man.
Right.
It would include a damn Super Bowl in the 3 straight losses. And that's an impossibly long streak. I think it's ugly, though. I think that the Eagles want to slow this game down. I think the Chiefs want to slow this game down. I think everybody's just trying to find a way to win. I'll take the Chiefs, 24-23.
Oh, we're close.
And
okay.
what I think is a dogfight of a game. We don't talk about our scores ahead of time because I think it's fine if we have the same score.
Yeah.
24-23, Chiefs win. I'll give them the edge. I do think it's going to come down to the end. I do not think you're getting some stress.
Either way. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think Philly's coming in here and dominating the Chiefs the way they did in the Super Bowl.
No.
I don't. They can definitely win. I mean, I'm not going to be shocked on Monday if the Chiefs lost, if that's what you're telling me. But I just think the Chiefs bounce
I think it's
back.
a true 50-50 game, and I'll give them the chance to throw at Arrowhead to get the win.
And, you know, I thought the Eagles didn't look great, as I said, on Thursday against the Cowboys. But it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be hot at Arrowhead, all day long tailgating. It's going to be a hell of an atmosphere.
Is this supposed to be in the 90s still on Sunday?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's
I believe
like
so.
90.
Very hot.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4.
Very hot for the tailgating. Drew, how do you see this game playing out?
Man, I think this is going to be a really good game, just as you guys do. I think that the Chiefs are going to come out ready to go. Obviously, I'm intrigued. Just like we obviously have talked about the offensive line, still the defensive line, and all those other things. But in the end, I think the Eagles get the win, 28-24.
Okay. All right.
So
Picking the Eagles.
I don't think it's crazy to pick the Eagles.
We're all in the mindset that this has to be a 28 to 24, or in the mid to low 20 type of destination. Sorry, our tent literally almost just flew away while we were listening.
We got it.
Like. I heard
yeah,
something.
we had to step up and grab it real quick.
Speaking the lowering of the tent.
Luckily, we only need the tent for about 3 minutes, and we can go ahead and take it down now anyway. Honestly, so
let's lower
okay.
this
Yeah, I don't
way.
think that's a crazy. Like we're all. Let's see. The total for the game is what 46.5. So Drew, you're over it.
Mm-hmm.
Cody and I are under, I believe. So. Okay. What about individual player performances, real quick, before we get out of here?
You mean besides the Robert Tonyan touchdown we're getting?
Yeah, we are both on Robert Tonyan, 28-1 to get a touchdown.